All right, y'all. We give praise, esteem, and honor to the living Alahym. In the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. Pick this up in John chapter 5, verse 39. Search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life. And there they which testify of me. And you would not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you, that you have not the love of Alahym in you. I come in my Abba's name, you receive me not. No shall come in his own name, him you will receive. How can you receive honor one from another, and not the honor that comes from Alahym only? Do not think that I will accuse you. The Abba, there's one that accused you, even Moses, of whom you trust. Had you believed Moses, you would have believed me, for he wrote of me. But if you believe not his writings, how should you believe my words? Psalms 89. We'll pick it up at verse 20, because we're going to get to the verse that that we're titled after, and then we'll go back to where we started from. Psalms 89 and 20. I found David, my servant, with my Kadash oil have I anointed him, with whom my hand shall be established. My arm also shall strengthen him. The enemy shall not exact upon him, nor the son of wickedness afflict him. I will beat down his foes before his face and plague them that hate him. For my faithfulness and my mercy shall be with him, and in my name shall his horn be exalted. I will set his hand also in the sea, and his right hand in the rivers. He shall cry unto me, you are my Abba, my Alahym, and the rock of my salvation. Shalom, man. And I will also make him my firstborn, higher than the kings of the earth. So we're focusing on verses 26 and 27, but I believe that we stopped in about verse 8. So back that up to verse 8. But before we proceed, right, because I saw there's a lot of people all up in arms about what the game had to say. Did y'all see what the game had to say? The game had to say that he feel like he old school and that a woman should not pay for anything. No bills, no nothing. And you know, a lot of women feeling like, see, he talking that talk. Of course, they gonna say he talking. Yes, G Unit, the game, the stripper. Yeah, the stripper. Yeah, he's a former stripper. Male dancer. Chip in Dales. Rescue Rangers. Now, the thing is a lot of women be like, see, y'all broke men have a problem with that. And that's not the case. Because I seen a couple people talking about this here. See, and the reason I'm mentioning this here, because it's going to tie to this word just momentarily. Now, I've told y'all this before. Most women want to be independently dependent. You want a traditional man while being a modern woman at the same time when it suits you. You know what I'm saying? If you want a man to take care of you and pay all the bills, see, it's stuff that come along with that. You know what I'm saying? The average woman, you don't want that. But this is even the more important part of the faultiness of his statement. You're making that as if every woman on earth deserves that. And they do not. See, that is a harsh reality that nobody wants to accept. We were listening to this nigga last night. This nigga had women on his show last night talking about a women out of order. And these women had attitudes with the fact that they didn't like the fact that black men asked them to smile. She said, who do you niggas think you are to ask me to smile? One of those, slow man, one of those women said, point blank period, we're the most freest and independent we've ever been. Why should we be joined to a black man? And you funky hoe want somebody to take care of you? Absolutely not. See, these are the things that ain't nobody want to deal with. This is what a man got to deal with. So I got to go get a woman who feels like she doesn't even need me. And I'm supposed to take care of her because she has a vagina. Well, I'd rather stay alone and get my money and live like Scrooge McDuck. You know what I'm talking about? Like straight up and down. Bro, there was like 4 women on there who were talking like this. Bro, have y'all ever heard how black women say, why niggas always got to ask us to smile? You know what I'm saying? Like they get an attitude because the dude will see them and be like, smile, baby. Why your face frowned up? Man, I told you before, it's a girl I know that a dude told her on Instagram, you're beautiful. You don't need to wear weave or makeup. And she said, F you, nigga, and F what you think. I don't care what you're talking about. And you're the woman who says that I ought to marry one of your sons and your son should take care of me. And the sad part was that was a 39-year-old woman who said that. Bro, there was a 24-year-old chick on this man show last night. Where you go look at that woman and say, why should we be joined to black men? Girl I know hit me up and say, look at this video, man, where this woman said black women should make their own race. Why are you loyal to these men? You know what I'm saying? See, y'all don't want to deal with that because some of y'all know y'all funky dog slut hoe friends talk like this and think like this. And you don't check them funky hoes. You know what I'm saying? You let them hoes sit there and talk about that. I just want you to know they talking about your son, though. See, if you ain't realized it before, all the women who talk like that, well, they talk about your son. See, I want you to visualize it like that. They talk about your son. When they say a black man is this and a black man is that, it ain't relative to you because you don't care. But in reality, they telling you your son ain't nothing and he's trash. And you trash because you had one. Yeah, that's real talk. I mean, they telling you who are trash because you come from his image and you made him. That's what they telling you. But see, this is how you deal with women like that. You don't. They got that type of, that's why I tell you how your son's game tight in mind, right? These hoes is trash. Well, they ain't nothing gonna be out there for them. I'm talking about, boy, I would definitely recommend a young man coming up in this generation, son, just be celibate. Don't even worry about no women. If he had to go out there and pick one, oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. They ain't worth dealing with. They ain't worth dealing with. And not at all. They ain't worth dealing with. But of course, you know, women jumped up with that because I already told you this. Women want to be taken care of. But see, you have to earn that right. You're not entitled to a man's provision. You have to earn that. And that's what y'all done been failed to realize. And of course, you know, they were talking about this. Did any of y'all in y'all family, when y'all grandparents died, did it pop up that your granddaddy had a whole nother family?
That was my uncle though. His wife died. He ain't dead. He's alive. His wife died, and then everybody met his daughter and her mom.
No, because I didn't think it's just been talking about that. I've heard it. Didn't happen to me personally, but I definitely heard like people, granddaddy, somebody died. Next thing you know, oh, this was granddaddy Earl, other kids.
I got old age.
Yeah, because the point that he was making is that this type of stuff be going on, and your grandma and great grandmas knew what was going on, but they wasn't finna wreck and tear their house up. Because see, that's why I asked y'all that a couple weeks ago. Because another young lady who I'm talking to about this here, I'm like, she always talking about she don't want a nigga to cheat on her. And I'm like, you say you got cheated on by a broke nigga who had nowhere to live and no job. And you didn't leave. So you don't really care about that. Sean said his wife, great grandfather, had a whole family with his mistress down the street. You wonder like this here, why granddaddy be coming home late? Shoot, that nigga had to go see his other son.
I know my uncle. He got
That John rough out here, man. That John rough out here, man. These women out here trash. I'm talking about super duper trash.
They one of my counselors at some time. She was like, hey, one of the kids on the campus. You can't say anything. Yeah, he was like, hey, that's your uncle.
See, that's rough. Now, see, I'm mentioning that, right? Because a lot of people feel like Yahuwah ought to just take care of them. But yet you're not the type of individual who Yahuwah will take care of. Because let's look at something in Luke chapter 12, verse 33. Hey, don't come over here with that. You ain't even being for real. Make it 31, 12 and 31. You know what? I'll just start at 22 and do it like that. And work my way to it. And he said unto his disciples, therefore I say unto you, take no thought for your life, what you shall eat, neither for your body, what you shall put on. The life is more than meat, the body is more than raiment. Consider the ravens, for they neither sow nor reap, neither have storehouse nor barn, and Alahym feed them. How much more are you better than the fowls, which if you taking one thought can add to his stature 1 cubit? If you then be not able to do that which is least, why take you thought for the rest? Consider the lilies, how they grow, and they toil not, and they spin not. Yet I say unto you that Solomon in all his esteem was not arrayed like one of these. If Alahym so clothe the grass, which is today in the field, and tomorrow is cast into the oven, how much more will he clothe you, O you a little faith? See, this is first and foremost, how you going to get provision from Alahym is you would have to have faith in him. See, he's not taking care of somebody who doesn't believe in him, don't trust in him. Because if you believe and trust in him, guess what you're going to do? You'd be serving him. See, no one is entitled to provision. Provision is earned. You know why you need to earn it? Because nobody appreciates anything that they didn't have to work for. See, if a man just come up and take you here and take you there and buy you this and give you that, you don't appreciate what he do for you because you didn't do anything to get it. So you feel like the reason you get it because your vagina's so golden or you're so beautiful. And you're not. Because I'm here to tell you, ain't no woman's vagina on this earth that good. It's an individual who's just that weak for vagina that he feels like it's so great and let me give you everything I got for it. Because ain't no piece of vagina on earth that good. I can guarantee you that. All it is a nut. Once you ejaculate, that sensation is gone. So all it would be is when I want to have another sensation in my penis, I'll call you. See, most women are not used to that because you used to niggas who hard up for loving and live for coochie. You know what I'm saying? See, when you're vagina proof, that don't mean nothing. I remember my homie like, well, she got some good head. You would make her your old lady? Absolutely not. Why would I do that? When I want some oral sex, I'm going to call her. Then I'm going to send her home. You disgust me now. Depart from me. You know what I'm saying? You don't get with no woman for no sexual pleasures. That's stupid. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, we were talking about this the other day. Shalom, man. When Kevin Sain was talking to the women about that, and I know that just in my life experience, that black women are the only women I've ever heard say they'll leave a man if his sex wasn't good, but he did everything else right. You sitting around here waiting for King Dingaling and you ain't got no man at the house. Nobody to fight for you, nobody to take care of you. He wasn't good, I had to go. Now, white woman like this here, yeah, this here. You know, Charles doesn't give it to me how I like, but he feels paid. I got somebody in here. Somebody break in the house and somebody pick up that AK-47. Charles knows how to swing that, I'll tell you that. Straight up. You watch the dude might get attacked by a bobcat, but he came out the back, snatched that bobcat off his wife, threw that bobcat in the yard and up his fire. I'm gonna shoot that sucker. You know what I'm talking about? Guess what? You done got rid of Bob because he couldn't sling no meat. Now you gotta get that bobcat off yourself. You know what I'm talking about? That's what black women do. You're going to have to get the bobcat off yourself because you got rid of your man because he couldn't please you. That junk was funny because every woman got on there. He said, why is that so important to you? You ain't never heard a man say, yeah, her coochie was trash, bro. I had to leave. You got dudes with women who don't cook, clean, coochie trash and all that. I'm with them now, so shoot. It is what it is. I'll deal with it. This man can pay all the bills, do everything. I ain't had an orgasm 3 years ago. I had to get me with this new nigga. They always leave for a nigga who can't do nothing for him but give him penis. Straight up, but give him penis. That's how I've been told you that. Farrakhan said this years ago, and I agree with him, that black people are the only people on the earth who choose their mates from the waist down. And that's why your neighborhoods are destroyed and your children are stupid. Because you pick somebody off of sexual prowess. That shows that you are a very carnal, unintelligent, idiotic group of people that are not fit to lead or procreate. Because you ain't got nothing to give him. Because what can a nigga with good penis and nothing else give your son? You have to think about that. What can he give your son? All he can tell your son is how to stroke, or he can inherit his penis size. That's what you worry about. He ain't got nothing to give him. So he gonna grow up and be a clone of this broke, no good meat slinging nigga right here. He can sling some good meat. He can't do nothing else. Straight up and down. You don't see other races of people even talk like that. Don't get me wrong now, because I ain't around some white girl. White girl like to get their back blown out too, but they ain't finna leave their man behind it. They're not finna do it. Arab women don't even care, because they ain't even finna fool with too many men outside their race anyway. You were talking about this other day, man, and that's true. That white men and Asian women, boy, they date out. Asian women marry anybody. You know what I'm talking about? Well, white men date out, because contrary to popular belief, they women aggravating. They be like, shoot, I come over here with you, Keisha. I will come over here with you. Yeah, they're a different type of aggravator. You know what I'm saying? They be ready to slide. Because what it was, because Tig hit me up saying that the girl was saying that it was a lie that black women are overwhelmingly married to black women. And I'm like, that woman's lying. Men rarely ever go date women of another race. Men would rather have a child that's in their image from somebody who looks like them. You get with a different genetic stock, it waters down the child's genetics. It's not the same. You know what I'm saying? Women don't understand that because they don't think like that. We're not looking at, I want to have this type of hair and this, that, and the third. I want his genetic makeup to be strong. I don't want a little bit of Caucasoid or a little bit of Mongoloid or a little bit of Arab in my son. I want my son to be all me. You know what I'm saying? And why is that important? Because Yahuwah don't want his seed to be watered down. That's why I say you got to be born of the word. You can't be of the world and of the word. That's going to water the seed down. You're not going to be in his image. He don't want it. He don't want it. It's a twofold thing what we discussed. Like I said, right? No woman is owed provision for the simple fact that she's a woman. She has to earn that provision. You know what I'm saying? Yahuwah only thing you even I can't even say that because even with the ruach that's earned, because you would have to believe the testimony for him to give you that. He's just not giving you that because he told you some word and you was like, well, I told it to him, I just will give it to him. Now you would have to believe, which is a work. That's a work of faith for you to be able to get that. Okay, so Ron says, you think that's Western culture in general? Couples don't stay together for 5 minutes nowadays over there in Britain. Every family's broken because they think they fell out of love when the early lust wears. But see, that don't be the man or that be the woman. Because men don't leave. For the most part, men don't leave. Because we seen that with Yahuwah. Did he leave or did we leave? We left. He didn't leave. And then he continued to plead and cajole and have compassion and mercy in order for you to stay. You know what I'm saying? Because he did not leave. You left. You know what I'm talking about? See, again, all this stuff. Look here, man. Everything we see with the dynamic of how people, male and female, interact with one another in this modern day society is emblematic of how people deal with Yahuwah. Pot stinks. They'll walk around like, I ain't never been in here before. Luke 12:29. Seek not what you shall eat or what you shall drink, neither be you of doubtful mind. For all these things do the nations of the world seek after, and your Father know that you have need of these things. But rather seek you the kingdom of Alahym, and all these things shall be added unto you. Fear not, little flock, it's your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. Yahuwah desires nothing more than to give his wife the best of everything, but she would have to earn it. She earns it through her faith, not through the application of laws, but through her faith. Her faith is what will substantiate that she is worthy of the provision. I'm only mentioning this because, hey, we're not telling y'all not to take care. Ain't nothing wrong if you have the ability to take care of your wife. But one thing for certain, two things for sure, and you need to make sure that the money is right, that she can stay home. Because if it's not, then she might need to work then. Because ain't no sense of making your life harder to prove a point. Because if you feel like you ain't got enough money for her not to work, then you shouldn't have got married until you had the money for her not to work. And that's what you desire. Me personally, mine work. Not because I want her money, because she got to have something to do. She got to have something to do. Whether it's working for me or doing something else. Ain't no sitting in the house. And I'm talking about cooking and cleaning and all that's well and good, but she needs something productive to do. Every day. You know what I'm saying? Every day. I've been on that. I was taught that at a young age. You can't just let no woman sit around and not have nothing to do. She gotta have something. She gotta have something to do. And she gonna do something. You know what I'm talking about? She gonna do something. Got to. Coming here tomorrow. I cooked and cleaned. That's it. I've been out here 12 hours. That's all you got for me? Yeah, don't worry about it. I got some office work for you to do. Claire. Spinal. That's what the name I tell you. Oh, it's a bitch. Arise, young sir. Arise. Arise. That's not a bed. Boy, you go do that there, boy, I got a belt for you. And we're going to put it on raw cheeks, too. Hey, you tired? Now ask your cousin, Miss Janisha, can you go lay down in the bed or lay down in the back? This ain't no bed. Oh, ask your cousin if you can lay down. So he have where we at? Psalms 89. I think we stopped where? They pick this up right. Verse 8. You know, it's hard life out here, man. It's harsh realities that people don't like to deal with. I don't care. I'm gonna say what I want. Right, this here, right? Oh, Yahuwah Alahym of hosts, who is like unto you, or to your faithfulness round about you. Let's look at that so you can see that there's no one like unto him. But let's look at the faithfulness of those round about. Hey, look at that baby. Leave that baby alone and that baby sleep. No, that ain't what I want. When we look at faithfulness on every side, how will we do that? I get it. As a matter of fact, come over here to verse 9. He said, you rule the raging sea, and when the waves thereof arise, you still them. Do y'all know what that is? That should be very easy. You rule the raging sea, and when they thereof arise, when the waves, you still them. When you look at still, I'll tell you what that is. That is Shabbat. That is the soothe. That is the still. Also the praise and command and the laud. You have Shan, Bat, and Kai. So we see with this here with the stilling that the sun was consumed and therefore he was separated. But do y'all know what this is? That he stills the raging sea? On the boat sleep. But you know who that was? That was young Jonah on the boat sleep. Let's come over here to the book of Matthew for that real quick. All right. Sit up, man. Yeah, sit up. Okay. You better sit up. Dang, my ear hurt, man. My whole ear caught. Thought it was earwax, put peroxide in it. That just made it. Hurt? Sometimes. It made it worse because you put eardrops in it. That junk clogged. It popped. And then I say, okay, well, shit. I put this doggone peroxide in and get this earwax out. I knew I was done for because the peroxide didn't bubble. So that just means it's water. That sucks. That sucks. Matthew chapter 8. Verse 23. When he was entered into his ship, his disciples followed him. There arose a great tempest in the sea, insomuch that the ship was covered with the waves, and he was asleep. Y'all know what a tempest is, right? What's a tempest, little Martha? Huh? Oh, a tempest is like how do I put this in words? Yeah, like strong winds. While y'all pause, I want you to come over here to James chapter 1. I want you to come over here and pick it up at verse 1. Because I want you to see the correlation between a tempest in the sea and a tempest in your brain. And how he steals that raging sea, and he can steal that raging sea in your brain. James 1 and 1. James, a servant of Alahym and of the Lord Yahushua HaMashiach to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad. Greeting. My brethren, count it all joy when you fall into diverse temptations, knowing this, that the trying of your faith work patience. But let patience have her perfect work, that you may be perfect and entire, wanting nothing. If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of Alahym that give to all men liberally, and upbraid not, and it shall be given him. But let him ask in faith, nothing wavering, for he that wavers like the wave of the sea, driven with the wind and tossed. An individual who is not firm in his amuna, in his aman, and in his amah is no different than a raging sea. So therefore, you'd have to allow this man to come in and steal that sea. See, individuals don't allow the word to come in and steal the sea. He say, for let not that man think he shall receive anything of the Lord. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. Let's return to Matthew 8. We're in verse 25. 8 and 25, Matthew. And his disciples came to him and awoke him and saying, Lord, save us, we perish. See, that's that wave. Because see, when you want something of it, that's how you feeling. You feeling like you're going to die. That's why you toss to and fro. But you are going to perish. You're going to perish because look what he said. And he said unto them, why are you fearful, O you of little faith? See, and that goes back to the point I was talking about just saying that any woman should be provided for unequivocally. Because that's why I mentioned a young girl who said, why should we trust in black men when we have all this freedom? See, that's how people feel in the world. You have the freedom of the world. Why should I trust in the living Alahym? Why should I do that? Why don't he come over here? That woman say, how about you build businesses with us? Build businesses with you for what? See, I'm mentioning this here because we're the only group of people who will look to a man and tell a man that he should do things with a woman. And we're the only group of people who look to Alahym and say that Alahym should make himself comparable to us and do things like that for us. That's what it takes back to that verse. Who is like unto you? Who can you compare him to? When you put it in a natural sense, who is like a black man and who could you compare him to? Because see, contrary to popular belief, other nations of the earth don't want black women. All the other nations want your man, though. Because I was amazed when I heard of this women who take courses of other races on how to get black men. Ain't nobody, nigga, every person, every other race on this earth know how you get black women to do this right here. That's all you got to do. And she coming. He know he ain't got to do nothing. He ain't got to do nothing. He know he can beat and skeet and slide on out the way. And as long as you got a couple dollars and some bags and some outfits, you good. You know what I'm talking about? This is what they know. But to have women actually say, I want to be formally trained on how I can get that man right there. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is it's the black women who saying we shouldn't be with them, and you got other races of women trying to get your man, and he's trying to be with you, and you telling him, F you, I don't care nothing about you. And that's how you do your who, same token. You got all these guys out here, you want to deal with all these guys, and he telling you, I don't want these other nations, I want you. Yeah, I'll take them. They can come in and be joined in. I ain't got no problem with it, but I want you. Let me show you the verse why I say that. Hold this Matthew 8:25. Isaiah 65. Because that's what I'm saying. It's all book. I ain't saying it because it's my personal opinion. Isaiah 65:1. I am sought of them that ask not for me. I am found of them that sought me not. I said, behold me, unto a nation that was not called by my name. I have spread out my hands all the day unto a rebellious people, which walk in a way that was not good after their own thoughts. Is that not how our women live right now? That's how they live right now, after their own thoughts and rebellious. People that provoke me to anger continually to my face, and that sacrifice in gardens and burn incense upon the altar of bricks. Let me ask y'all ladies a question. Have y'all ever caught an attitude with a man if he asked you, why don't you just smile for me? Y'all ever had an attitude? Have you ever been with a woman who caught an attitude? You look, I sure did. I only start smiling for you, nigga. You know why a man asking you to smile? Be happy, baby. And all you could have did is just be kind. But instead, you told him, F you, whole nigga. Like, you would have to ask yourself, why would you find it offensive because somebody told you to do one of the easiest things it is to do in life, and that is to smile. But yet niggas walked around and sang little doofball smile all day long. Because at the end of the day, that was the point of the song, the reason why people come up to you and tell you to smile. Man, I know it's hard out here, baby, to put a smile on your face. Some of y'all said that it's a plethora of songs that talk about smiling. And a man who you're made in his image walks up to you and say, baby, just put a smile on your face, and you ready to shoot him a fade. He's smiling for you, nigga. This nigga like, nigga, what? And then the women had a nerve to say the men trash. Yeah, that woman there was horrible. That woman said, we can't smile. We're mourning for our brothers. One lady said, well, you know, we got a lot of trauma. That nigga said, well, go get a therapist. You got a lot of trauma. What happened to you? This is a crazy part. Like I said, the lady said that black women should have their own race. Let's just keep it real. In the last 25 years, how many black women can you name that were killed by the police like niggas get killed by the police? How many women can you name? Shoot, you being nice with 10. You ain't got but 2. You got Sandra Bland and you got Breonna Taylor.
Oh my God. I thought she put a gun in the shop. The light skin with that head burns. She had a bad one. And they shot a child.
Oh, you talking about in Baltimore?
I just was like,
yeah, that was in Baltimore, I believe. Yeah, I know what she's talking. I think that was in Baltimore. If you're lucky. The point of the matter is, in comparison, it's rare. It's rare. And at the end of the day, Breonna Taylor got killed not because they were trying to kill her, because somebody done kicked in their door. And that's the funny part, because they say the black woman ain't protected, but he went to jail because he went to banging. That's why she got shot, because he went to banging. Because if he wouldn't have went to shooting, they wouldn't have shot. Which means she wouldn't have got shot. You know what I'm talking about? Now, whatever happened to Sandra Bland, who knows? Because all types of things happen in the jailhouse. But guess what? I know people who've been killed in the jailhouse. I was in there, heard it done. It happens all the time. Straight up and down. I never, Cedric Braswell, they beat that boy to death, literally, bare hands. Jefferson Correctional Institution. And the doggone black CO that killed him came around there, walking around there because we were in confinement. He was like, let's death row out this hole. And I'm Suge Knight. I'm like, you a real live buster. You know what I'm saying? Because, boy, that was still somebody's son, boy. You talking about we this and we that. You should be behind this door, nigga. You just killed a man. And you talking about us, nigga. You supposed to be back here with us. You are a murderer. You went back there and literally killed a man who had psychiatric issues because the nigga wasn't right here. And I was in confinement when they killed a nigga, and they say he hung himself in a suicide cell. I don't know if you've ever been incarcerated and seen a suicide cell, but let me tell you, there's a lot of things you can do in a suicide cell, and hanging yourself ain't one of them. And you know why you can't hang yourself in a suicide cell? Because you're in there butt naked. Literally butt naked. They take all your stuff and put you in there with just a mat, butt naked. And it was interesting that when they took his body out of that cell, he had broken ribs and a bruised sternum, but he hung himself. You know what I'm saying? You don't be hearing no stories about no women getting killed in no prison. You know what I'm talking about? Ain't nobody walking around here saying, let's kill black women. It's not happening. But see, this is my attitude. And then my attitude is in line with Yahuwah's attitude. If you want to be your own race, that means you don't have a man, you on your own, ho. Because see, the minute you say that you want to divorce yourself from Yahuwah, you on your own. Oh, I remember the lady who got shot driving around the White House. It was a lady here in Jacksonville back in the 90s that got killed off Bay Meadows Road. They said she had mental issues. She had revved up her van. The police had her, and they thought she was going to ram the van through their car, so they let her have it. But I'll tell you one thing about JSO, they equal opportunity murderers. They kill everybody. I mean, they killed a white dude back in the day because he picked up a brick and said he was Jesus, and they lit him up. Right over there on 95, at the Goldfield exit, lit him up. JSO don't care, they kill everybody. White, black, women, dogs, them ain't no difference. You get shot. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. But ain't no black women under attack. Talking about we the most oppressed. Who's oppressing you? Who's really oppressing a black woman? Huh? But you say the men dusties and broken ain't got no power. So how they oppressing you? How is they oppressing you, baby? We good in Isaiah 65. Come on back to Matthew 8. Because see, the same way the black man is, I want my woman, but you like it's how you is. He want his wife, but his wife don't want him. Everybody else want him but his wife. 8. Are you Abigail? Come here, Abigail. Come here, Abigail. 8 and 25. Come here, Abigail. Come here, Abigail. Oh, you a rude little baby. You a rude little baby. Matthew 8 and 25. And the disciples came to him and awoke him, saying, Lord, save us, we perish. He said unto them, why are you fearful, O you of little faith? Then he arose and rebuked the winds and the sea, and there was great calm. But the men marveled, saying, what manner of man is this, that even the winds and the sea obey him? But this is the key component. You see how he rebuked he could steal whatever to bring calm in a man's heart and a man's mind. Say, I want you to come over here to Amos 4 on general principle. Amos 4 and 11. Matter of fact, yeah, 4 and 11. I have overthrown some of you as Alahym overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. And you were a firebrand plucked out of the burning. Yet you have not returned unto me, saith Yahuwah. Therefore, thus will I do unto you, O Yasharal, because I will do this unto you. Prepare to meet your Alahym, O Yasharal. For he that formed the mountains and create the wind and declare unto man what his thought is, that make the morning darkness and tread upon the high places of the earth, Yahuwah. The Alahym of hosts is his name. So he just came here because he said he declares to a man what his thought is. He can declare the thoughts that can calm a man's heart, but you would have to allow him. He's the Alahym of consolation. Now, again, this goes back to what I mentioned last night, what I told my homegirl. It is not important for a man to understand a woman. It's not important for him to do that at all. What it is it's important for him to understand her nature. Understanding her nature gives you the ability to comfort and console an individual. If you ever look at anything in life, and anybody who's ever able to give you any type of consolation, it wasn't because they understood you, it's because they understood the situation and how the situation would relate to you. See, that's a new thing. That's women logic. To understand me, to understand you for what? How does that benefit anyone? It doesn't. It just makes you feel good mentally. Because like I'm saying, friend, something in a video, like, hey, check this out. Lady was talking about low value, high value beta males, talking about a high value beta male is a man who's in touch with his emotions. And she was like, men are not in touch with their emotions. They don't express them. And I say that is the number one fallacy in human life, that men don't express their emotions. Most men do. They just don't do it to women. They do it to their friends and their family members, and they discuss them. The thing is, the difference between a man and a woman is a woman will discuss her emotions for a week. A man is going to do it in one conversation because he knows that once he does that, he's going to be offered solutions. But you look crazy. You look crazy. You got something to say? I'm just messing with you. But nevertheless, you got to think about that. Because if y'all was to meet a dude and he would talk about how he was feeling for a week straight, how would you react to him? I'm talking about the men, not the women. How would you react to a nigga who was all this here, bro, up here feeling like this here? Okay, so what you gonna do, my nigga? Because you told me this on Monday and it's Friday and you still talk about it. You trying to talk to them. See, that's the difference because, they feel like that's not healthy. I mean, no, we've given you the solution to the problem. Why are we still talking about it unless it's a death in the family? That's a different scenario. Death in the family, that's different. You ride out with somebody. But as a death in the family, I'm not going to ride out with you for 6 months. All right, my nigga, the nigga's dead, cuz. What you want me to do? They're not coming back. Oh, see, that goes back to what I've been told you before. That's an emotional attachment. Somebody dies and you can't let that go. You were emotionally attached. And I told you that's not healthy. You know what I'm saying? And that leads to idolatry. It's not healthy at all. We went through that in the text, man. They mourn for 30 days. 30 days is more than enough time to mourn over somebody's passing. A person been dead for a year and you still all broke up and mentally fractured, you need to see a therapist. You know what I'm saying? That's not healthy. You know what I'm saying? That's not healthy at all. We get it. You miss people. But the reason why the death part is hard is because we never want to accept the fact that one day you're here and the next day you're in a car. You know what I'm saying? You think that people just always going to be here. That's why people say he died suddenly. Nobody dies suddenly. There's no such thing as a sudden death because you don't know when it's coming. You know what I'm saying? You assume you're going to live 70 years, 80 years. Nobody's ever told you that. That's not promised to you. That's why it bothers people, because we have the assumption that they're going to be here. There's no guarantees that you're going to be here. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's here because it's recent for some. You think DMX thought that day he got up, he was going to have a heart attack and never regain consciousness? Nigga wasn't up at 50 years old. It's somebody that woke up today, boy, and they going to be their last day above ground. Some already had that last day above ground. They didn't know it. But like you say, like your cousin friend, you think that day she got in that car, she thought she was going to break down on the highway and then get ran over? He didn't get up and say, that's what I'm planning to do today. That's how fragile life is. It can be snuffed out in a heartbeat. Hey. Indeed it is. And it can go as quickly as it comes, as quickly as it can go. So that's why you have to maximize your time while it's here. And that's the difference. Because I told you before, because she was saying men should be in balance with their feminine side. Ain't no man got no feminine side. You brothers got a feminine side? Y'all feel like y'all got a feminine side? Don't you know what happens if a man got a feminine side? That means he a woman. Huh? Not your whole face. Oh, you say your whole face is your good. Okay. Something wrong with your husband. She looking, I'm embarrassed. I'm just embarrassed. You know what I'm saying? Just like a woman ain't got no masculine side because she's not a man. But the reason why I say that is this, is that when a woman acts masculine, she's really not masculine. It's what she believes to be masculine. So it's persuado masculinity, because how would she know what masculinity is? She's not a man. If a man is in touch with his feminine side and behaving femininely, it's persuado femininity, because he's not a woman. He doesn't know what it is to be a woman. That's why you look at punks who try to be women and you find it hilarious. Nigga, you're not a woman. You're not even anywhere close to being a woman. You're imitating what you think femininity is. You know what I'm talking about? You see a stud and she like this here. Oh, man, you ain't no man, ho. You're portraying what you think a man is. And why is that important? Because what does the text say? They have a form of godliness, but the truth is not in it. Because you're portraying what you think godliness is, because that is not intrinsically ingrained in you. Be quiet.
I did an estimate to paint a stud house. She came to the door. She had no shirt on. She got her titties chopped off by surgery or something.
Oh, she got a breast removed.
Yeah, it was everywhere. I never seen it. Yeah, she had no shirt on. And
little baby nipples.
Even had that, it was flat.
Oh yeah, she got the breast removed. She either got her breast removed or she had breast cancer.
Yeah, it just looked weird. Like,
she like this. What's up, cuz? You know what I'm saying? I need my citizen. Trying to walk with a bob. You know what I'm saying? Everything. You know what I'm saying, cuz? Bro. Yeah, that period gonna remind you exactly who you are in about 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? Hey, little muffin. Yeah. Hey. You woke up. Hey, if I tell y'all to stop playing one more time, all you're gonna do is get punched on sight. Because you're being disrespectful. Back to Psalms 89. I ain't with it. Verse 10. Psalms 89 and 10. You have broken Rahab in pieces as one that is slain. You have scattered your enemies with your strong arm. We look at broken in pieces, and that is the ka. That is to crush, to be made contrite. You have Dalet, Kaf, and Aleph. And you can proceed. Dalet, Kaf, and Aleph. Hey. The ka for crushing pieces or breaking pieces. Dalet, Kaf, and Aleph. That's about context-wise. That's about right. You can take that Yahusha was subdued by his sacrifices. How he was broken pieces. Now, what is Rahab? Y'all know what Rahab is? You know what that's referring to without looking? And it is a place. It's another name for a place. What place would it be? Without looking. Who could figure it out without looking? It's Egypt. It means breath, but it's a place, another name for Egypt. You have Raj, Khat, and Bad. Excuse me, Rosh Hayabot. My apologies. They may well have. There's a lot of this. Shoot, Egypt has so many gods. Who knows? Where you think you're going, Abby? That's my cup. Hey. That's Rosh Hayabot. That's my cup. Hey. Y'all took my drink. Now I'm thirsty. You took my drink? I think you took it, Tubby man. You did. Oh, you're rude. Rosh Hayabot, what you got? Behold the son of Alahym. Did they not behold him? They watched what he did to him, but remember, they said to what? Break him into pieces. He said, behold the son of Alahym. He broke into pieces Rahab, or the breath. You already talked about breath. You know what I'm saying? Breath is dealing with the width, if I'm not mistaken. So let's take a look at this here when we're talking about behold. Zechariah 12. Next time you won't be moving swiftly. Hey. This is the verse what I like. Pick it up at verse 1 for now. Zechariah 12:1. The burden of the word of Yahuwah for Yasharal, saith Yahuwah, which stretched forth Shamahim and lay the foundation of the earth and formed the Ruach of man within it. I just want you to think about that verse for a moment. Number one, when we look at burden, of course, you know that again, that is Messiah. That is your burden. Also, oracle, or the thing that you carry, or what that has to be, what the word of Yahuwah is going to carry. You have Mim, Shan, and Aleph. So we see that the son is going to be consumed by the Ruach. This is the burden that he has to carry because he has to be crucified. Now notice that it says that he stretched forth the heavens, and here goes that lay the foundation of the earth, because we were talking about that last night. That Yasad, that Yad, Samak, and Dalet, that grabbing hold of the offering of the son. That is how the foundation is laid. And of course, he formed, or you saw, the Ruach that is in a man. He did that in the cause of Yahushua by putting his breath in a man. You've seen that with Adam. I want you to drop down to verse 10. I'm sorry, verse 7. Verse 7 of John chapter 12. Yahuwah also saved the tents of Yehuda first, that the esteem of the house of David and the esteem of the inhabitants of Jerusalem do not magnify themselves against Yehuda. So, of course, you know it says that he is going to save the tents of the house of Judah first. What does that mean in relation to what's in Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John? Oh. Would you like to say hello? You don't want to say hello. No? It's okay. Matthew, Mark, Luke, or John. What does verse 7 have to relate? It's a specific verse. I can narrow the book down for you. It's John. That's it. Let's look at it, John chapter 10. And then John 11. Come here, Muppet Man. You over there whining. Come here, boy. John 10, Verse 14. Don't be playing. Come on in. John 10, verse 14. I'm the good shepherd and known of my sheep and am known of mine. As Abba know me, even so I know Abba, and I lay down my life for the sheep. Other sheep I have which are not of this fold, them also must I bring, and they shall hear my voice, and there shall be one fold and one shepherd. Come over here what it was on John 11. And not in this instance, Ron, is that because we have to realize the beginning of Yahushua's mission. You know, and he said that he was only sent to the destroyed of the house of Yasharal. We have to remember that the tribes were split in 1 Kings chapter 11, and all that remained in Jerusalem was the tribe of Yehuda and Benjamin and Levi scattered. We know from Kings that the house of Yasharal was removed and they never returned. So when he came into the, that's why he say he saved in the tents of Yehuda first, because that's who was there. Because we should know this only because this is why we know this, because we read a piece of this last night. When Cyrus declared the decree, what kingdom were those people coming out of? We read in Isaiah 44 and Ezra 3, referencing that. Cyrus is who he said would declare the decree for Jerusalem to be rebuilt, correct? What captivity was that? Who went into captivity in Babylon? Judah did. Did they go before or after Israel? So that's why the tents of Judah get saved first, because those are the ones who came out of Babylon. Israel never returned. Not to saying that there's nobody from those other 10 tribes in the land, but as a whole, they never came back. Meaning that land mass was never given back to them. They were never able to settle back in their inheritance. Judah got to return. Judah only got to return because of Yahushua and the covenant that he made with David. That's why we're reading Zechariah 12. What we're reading in Psalms 89 is talking about David, because we referenced something to David last night and the other Psalms that we were reading. So we have to go look at that so that you can see one key component, that it is all the same word. And its point, I told you this when the first day that we began in Psalms. If there's nothing else that you're going to get out of the book of Psalms, it's going to be two things. You're going to get the, well, two or one of them the same. Praise and worship of Alahym is one of them, and faith is the other. If you read the book of Psalms in its totality, that is the theme of the entirety of all 150 divisions. Do you know what I'm saying? And that is the theme. There is no if, answer, but that is indisputable. Now, when we were in the book of Proverbs, of course, there were many different things because he was speaking on many different matters. So that's why there wasn't a constant theme. And we could read one verse in a chapter of Proverbs and it's talking about this, and another verse is talking about that, because Solomon was giving game on life, period. And life is multifaceted. But when you're dealing with Psalms, and David being known as one of the first psalmists in Yasharal, you're dealing with praise and faith, because that's what writing a psalm is all about. A psalm is about giving praise and esteem to Alahym. Those who do that can only do that because they have an unwavering belief, trust, hope, and confidence in him. Individual can't do that, and they don't have none. That's going to be difficult. John 11 and 48. Come here, boy. Come here, boy. Come here, boy. Come here, boy. If we let him thus alone, all men will believe on him, and the Romans shall come away and take away our place and nation. And one of them named Cappius, being high priest that same year, said unto them, you know nothing at all, nor consider that it's expedient for us that one man should die for the people, that the whole nation perish not. And this spake he not of himself, but being high priest that year, prophesied that Yahushua should die for that nation, and not for that nation only, but also that he should gather together in one the sons of Alahym that were scattered abroad. So what nation is this man referring to? He would have to be referring, and this is just scriptural context, knowing the book. The people who are in the land at this particular time, because what temple are they going to? The temple that we read about in Ezra chapter 3 that they rebuilt? And that was Judah that built it. All you need to go do is read the end of the book of Jeremiah. You can see that. That's who went into Babylon. That's when you read in the book of Daniel. That's when you read in Ezekiel. They're in the captivity of Babylon. They're all talking to Judah. I'm hammering this home for you to understand the book. Not what we allude or insinuate, but to understand why certain things happen, because that's why Daniel 9 says the temple got to be rebuilt for the Mashiach, because the Mashiach come from the tribe of David, and Judah excelled above his brethren, and out of him come the chief ruler. So it makes sense that Jerusalem would be rebuilt and Judah would be present because of what he swore to David. Ain't got nothing to do with no personal preferences. That man is a keeper of his word. Because he did not say, I will build this house if you be like my father, your father David, and keep my instructions. So there you go. Because then we just read that in 2 Chronicles chapter 7. Say, I'll rebuild it if you stay loyal to me like David did. And guess what? Yahushua stayed loyal to his father like David did. So he said, I'll rebuild it for you, son. Very, very simple to understand. I know a lot of them get caught up because we looking at nationalities, because that's what, like I heard a dude say that, oh, I killed this pastor because he get upset because we teach nationality. Once I hear you say you teach nationality, I know you're not of God. I know you're not. You know what I'm saying? I'll tell you that to your face. You can't be a God and you say he sent you to teach nationality. Nigga, you a lie from hell. Ain't that right, cuz? All right. That's exactly what they said. They said when he said, where I go, you cannot come. They said, when he go teach the dispersed that are scattered amongst the Gentiles, they already knew. They knew who was there. They knew who was there. We're just talking about specifics. Right to Zechariah 12. When you look at do not magnify, it is Gadol. And that is to grow or to become important or to be powerful. So he says that Yahuwah will save the tents of Yehudah first, that the esteem of the house of David and the esteem of the inhabitants of Jerusalem do not make themselves great against Yahuwah. What did those people try to make him do? See, let's look at this here, right? When Pilate was set to crucify, what did he bring him out there to the people and say what? He said, behold, your what? Your king. Because he had to do this here because those people were trying to magnify themselves against this man and make them greater than him. So they say he's a blasphemer. He says he's this, he says he's that. You understand what I'm saying? Back to Zechariah 12 and 8. He said, in that day shall Yahuwah defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem. He that is feeble among them at that day shall be as David, and the house of David shall be as Alahym, and as a Malachim of Yahuwah before them. So now he says the house of David shall be as Alahym. What can this mean? I think we have to return to Psalms 89 for a quick moment. Muffin man, let me get that snack, cuz. That snack. Get that snack attack. Psalms 89. I'll get verse 11 because I still got some stuff I want to talk about in verse 10. So, Psalms 89 and 11. The heavens are yours. The earth is also yours. As for the world and the fullness thereof, you have founded them. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with Alahym, and the Word was Alahym, and that he made all things, and there was not anything made that Yahushua did not make. That's what that's telling you. The north and the south, you have created them. Tabor and Hermon shall rejoice in your name. So let's look at Tabor and Hermon real quick like. Of course, when you have Tabor, that is Mount. That is a narrow ridge on the west of Nazareth. It is also a place of an oak tree on which was where Saul was going after he was anointed by Samuel. Now with Tabor, you have Tau, Bat, U, and Rosh. So you already can see how the covenant was secured by the son of Alahym. It was secured on a mound. A mound is a hill. Where do they take him to be crucified at? on a hill. Come over here to 1 Samuel chapter 10. 10 and 1. What happened to your eyesight? You got what's in this? Word. I can dig it. Then Samuel took a vial of oil and poured it upon his head and kissed him. Is it not because Yahuwah have anointed you to be captain over his inheritance? When you are departed from me today, you shall find 2 men by Rachel's sepulchre in the border of Benjamin at Zelah, and they will say unto you, the asses which you went to seek are found. And lo, your Abba have left the care of the asses and sorrow for you, saying, what shall I do for my son? This is here right after Yahushua got anointed. Guess what happened? The asses that he saw were found. How do we know this here? What did he say in Luke 15? Well, let's look and see what he said in Luke 15. Luke 15 and 1. Luke 15 and 1. They drew near unto him, all the publicans and sinners for to hear. The Pharisees and the scribes murmured, saying, this man receives sinners and eat with them. Then he spake this parable unto them, saying, what man of you having 100 sheep, if he lose them, do not leave the 99? Oh, I forgot about cuz. In the wilderness, and go after that which is lost until he find it. And when he had found it, he lay it on his shoulders, rejoicing. And when he come home, he called together his friends and neighbors, saying unto them, rejoice with me, for I found my sheep which was lost. I say unto you, likewise, joy shall be in Shamahim over one sinner that repent, and moreover the 99 just persons which need no repentance. Either the woman having 10 pieces of silver, if she lose one piece, do she not light a candle and sweep the house and seek diligently till she find it? And when she found it, she called her friends and her neighbors together, saying, rejoice with me, I have found the piece which I have lost. Likewise, I say unto you, there is joy in the presence of the Malachim of Alahym over one sinner that repents. So what does that take us back to what we're looking at in Samuel? That's the asses being found, or the cattle. Because he said his father had lost his cattle. He sent his son to go what? To go find it. And what did Yahushua say? I am sent unto the lost sheep of the house of Yasharal, and you see Saul, who was anointed to be king, going out to seek his father's flock. Hold on, do we need to back that up for you to see that for yourself if you're not aware? It's like, oh, you're like, yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. It's okay. 1 Samuel. Let me see, do I want chapter 8 or 9? Make sure I have the spot that we need. Chapter 9. 1 Samuel 9 and 1. You can read it, son? Not yet. Now there was a man of Benjamin whose name was Kish, the son of Abiel, the son of Zeror, the son of Bacharath, the son of Aphiah, a Benjamite, a mighty man of power. He had a son whose name was Saul, a choice young man, and a goodly. There was not among the sons of Yasharal a goodlier person than he. From his shoulders upward, he was higher than any of the people. And the asses of Kish, Saul's father, were lost. Kish said to Saul, his son, take now one of the servants with you, arise and go seek the asses. He passed through Mount Ephraim and passed through the land of Shalisha, but they found them not. They passed through the land of Shalem, and they were not. He passed through the land of the Benjamites, but they found them not. And when they were come to the land of Zuph, Saul said to his servant that was with him, come, let us return, lest my father leave caring for the asses and take thought for us. He said unto him, behold, now there is a city, a man of Alahym, he's an honorable man. All that he say comes surely to pass. Now let us go hither, and peradventure he can show us our way that we should go. Oh no. As they out there, they say, let's go find this man of Alahym who can tell us the way that we should go. And Saul said to his servant, but behold, if we go, where shall we bring the man? For the bread is spent in our vessels, and there's not a present to bring to the man of Alahym that we have. Have we? The servant answered Saul and said, behold, I have here at the hand a 4/4 shekel of silver. That will I give to the man of Alahym to tell us our way. See, I think I mentioned that y'all the other day. Now, look what they answered, right? Because that's what dudes be saying, right? They gave him food. They said, we ain't got no food. We're taking this money. Now, I'm not mentioning that for people to just grab money and go run and take it to people. I'm telling you that from the aspect of they looked at it is, we're going for this man. I just put it as simply. If somebody is sent to Alahym as Samuel was, the value that they have to give can never be equated in material items. This is what Paul meant when he said, is it a light thing that I sow unto you spiritual things and you sow unto me carnal things? Because people don't even realize that. The level of value that Yahushua provided, there is absolutely nothing that we could give him back in return monetarily. You know what I'm saying? But see, again, this goes back to the aspect of, because I don't want to harp and move on, of coming from Christianity, and you knew that these men were not an Alahym and they were milking and exploiting people's resources. You know what I'm talking about? And giving you trash work. And the people love to have it so. T.D. Jakes is balling. What's the other white man name? What his name is? Joel Osteen. Joel Osteen don't even read no book. These people just have a verse on the TV screen and they just standing up there talking. T.D. Jakes sweat more than 3 men in a sauna, ain't said a word. This nigga out here trying to dress like a young nigga. This big fat bad body bastard got on doggone skinny pants. Your stomach is still hanging over your kneecaps. Them pants too tight and your shirt ain't right. I'm talking about all the nigga shirt. It ain't even that his shirt's small. What is that? What are you wearing? Who told you this was cool? And you posing in front of lowriders. So it ain't even about his teachers no more. You just a square. You feel like to relate to people, you got to be a nigga. You're 60. That nigga's getting too much money from niggas to be having them ill-fitting suits he be wearing. That junk ain't right. You got that kind of money, your suit should always fit properly. No matter how big you is, you got too much money. You got too much money. Man, if I'm getting that kind of money from all these black women and all these stupid men, well, my suit's gonna look good. At least if I'm gonna go to hell, man, come on, man, my suit got to fit right. Shoot. I'm going to hell, man. Don't put me in no ill-fitting suit. This nigga walking around here with skinny pants on. Boy, your nuts gonna bust. You know what I'm talking about? But that's just to be in the honesty of it. I'm talking about, but if you read this text and you look at the mindset of the people, those people felt like, and I feel like, excuse me, those people knew that if that man was an Alahym, they weren't coming empty-handed. You know what I'm saying? They weren't doing that. See, now we don't give a damn. Why we don't give a damn? Because most of these brews, they trash anyway. You know what I'm saying? But like I say, your church hurt. If you ever been, I ain't never gave nobody no money, so it wouldn't have bothered me then. You know what I'm saying? Shoot, if I know he got it, who cares? But also at the same token, we done talked about this before. You ain't see them boys walking around asking for it either, though. See, these boys walk around like this here. You know, you brothers need to send an offering. You need to do this or do that. Them boys didn't ask for it. Because remember what Elisha did to Gehazi. He said, boy, what you doing, boy? Didn't I tell you not to do that? Didn't I tell you it's the time for that? He said, since you did that, be a leper. You know what I'm talking about? That's why Samuel and Moses could stand up and say, which one of y'all I took asses out of your flock? I took the sheep from you niggas? What did I take from you? That's why they could stand up and say that. And that's again just referencing back to why Paul stood up and said, even though I could forbear working, I don't, so you can't blame the ministry. That's why Samuel and Moses stood up and said that, because you already know how people gonna be. Son don't go right, you gonna be. I gave him money. Because you already know how people be. People feel like if you give the preacher money, then the preacher got to say what you want him to say. That's why the black women get mad when they bring their pastor children to get christened in them Christian churches, and some of them pastors got a backbone and say, "No, I'm not Christian in this nigga. Where his dad at? Oh, he ain't married. Well, get your unmarried behind up out of here." It's only right. Well, you know how rough people be, man, upset about this here, man. I told my homegirl this last night. Telling like, y'all niggas celebrate, what you call them things? Gender reveals and baby showers of unwed women. All that does is empower that wicked, slutty woman to continue to be a whore. Because she's not being accountable and being ashamed that she had a child and she wasn't married to the man whom impregnated her. You should be embarrassed. You should be put to shame. You are not commended. You should not be celebrated. What are we celebrating? Irresponsibility? Because that's what we're celebrating. We're celebrating the fact that two grown adults were irresponsible, that they did not have enough long-term planning, caring, and thinking to actually get married and produce a child in a two-parent household so the child can have a better chance of success in life. And we gonna come out here, black folks, and celebrate it and feel like that woman should be installed. And she should not. And the sad part is that the man will be sitting right next to her at this baby shower and not be married. And unfortunately, we're the only group of people who have a meme that say we don't need to have a gender reveal. We need to have a father reveal because she don't know who the daddy is. Well, that's just unacceptable. Do you know what I'm saying? How many baby showers have y'all known of people who the woman had it and the father wasn't there? Not just wasn't there because who gives it? Who cares why he wasn't there? There was simply just not a man there. And we celebrating that. You know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah, you know. And had a nerve to tell that girl this lie. That's a blessing that God gave you that baby. That ain't no blessing. That baby gonna take you to hell, girl. Because if you die right now and stand before that throne, all that man got to do is point that child at you when he opened up them books and you condemn. A damn word got to be spoken. That ain't no blessing, baby. That had no baby out of the proper order. That's what we say. Wow. Wow. Jessica says she's seen a gender reveal with a woman that was a lesbian and no father around. Not a little carpet muncher. Yes, we are definitely destroying kids with irresponsibility, but we live in an irresponsible society. There is no accountability in this society, and unfortunately, there's definitely no accountability for women, specifically black women. Because as Shahar Ali mentioned, the black woman is the only people on the planet that cannot be examined. She can't be examined for her conduct. Everyone else can be examined. And that's not to knock women, but it doesn't allow women to actually improve and be the best version of themselves if they can't be examined and to be shown these things you're not doing well. This is how you can improve. You can never improve without examination. You know, some of y'all who done had a job, didn't they have quarterly and yearly examinations? Did they not sit you down to review your performance for the year and point out what you did well and what you didn't so you could improve? What's wrong with that? You would want somebody to do that in your real life. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. But unfortunately, our people think it's something, oh, you must have failed your quarterly examination. That what you over there laughing for? Yeah, that's what you laughing for. Huh? It's every day? What job you work at when they examine you every day?
The Johnny job.
That's not Johnny's job. So you have to get that out the way. That's your husband's business. You have to say that with proper verbiage. Because you don't have a job, you work in the family business. See, that's better than having a job. See, hold on. See, if we was to go outside right now and look at that sticker on his door, that's your name, nigga. Real talk, you carry that name. So that means that's not a job. You try to make sure the family name remains honorable and of good reputation. You should be examining yourself. Don't want the houses who are to be dishonored because you around here getting scrubbing toilet right. Because you didn't vacuum the back bedroom. Because you forgot to put the proper amount of carpet cleaner in the machine. Shoot, that ain't no job. Talking about Johnny's job. That ain't no job. Who he answered to? That man's name on that. Disrespect that man like that.
Yeah, man.
Don't get sorry. I say it for you. I'm talking about Johnny's job. Nigga, that's the family business. Shoot, nigga, you gonna burp turn like this here. You want to go to work? It don't matter if you want to go. You're going today. I don't want to clean them toilets. Shoot, I don't want to clean them either. That's why I got you. Straight up. That's why I got you doing. Shoot, Daddy put his time in, son. It's your time. It's your time to shine. That's how you supposed to do all your children. You do little job. I don't want to pressure water. Go and get this thing here, boy. Get the shooting, boy. It's your time. Daddy put in his time, son. It's time to show you how to get them gutters right. Make sure you don't chip off them people's paint. Shoot, he did. Eugene put him in that truck, but don't hit him too hard. Now don't hit him corner too hard. Bird already out there pushing the lawnmower. He know what to do. Ain't that right, Bird? Mm-hmm. While you over there talking, I'm about to clothesline the both of you. Yeah. Well, who you jumping at, boy?
It was Isaiah.
No, it was Isaiah. You just jumped at me. I don't care if he laughing at you. You almost got laughed at. Isn't it though? Let me tell you something, son. Just because somebody laugh at you don't give you no permission to put your hands on them. You gonna write your check, you can't cash. You can't go out there in the world like that, boy. Because there's people out there who don't fight. You can do that, son. Where we at? 1 Samuel chapter 9. Am I done in that? I'm done at 1 Samuel 9. I just wanted y'all to see that. Come back to chapter 10. John. Samuel. I think I'm missing one here. Oh, we talking about Tabor, that's right. 10 and 3. Or am I 10 and 2? Yeah, 10 and 3. Then you shall go forward from this, and you shall come to the plain of Tabor, and there shall you meet you there 3 men going up to Alahym to Bethel, one carrying 3 kids, another carrying 3 loaves, another carrying a bottle of wine. He said, when you go up there, you're going to find how many people? 3 men. And how many people was on that hill in Jerusalem? And what were they carrying? What he said they were carrying? 3 goats, 3 loaves of bread, and another carrying a bottle of wine. Oh, no. What do you have? Oh, you have the offering of Yahushua as he goes up on that hill. Because he got the wine for the blood, he got the bread for the body, he got the goat for the offering. Then you shall go on forward from thence, and you shall come to the plain of Tabor. I already read that. And they will salute you and give you 2 loaves of bread, which you shall receive in your hands, and you shall come to the hill of Alahym, where is the garrison of the Philistines. And it shall come to pass when you come thither to the city, that you shall meet a company of prophets coming down from the high place with the psaltery, a tabret, a pipe, and a harp before them, and they shall prophesy, and the Ruach of Yahuwah will come upon you, and you shall prophesy with them, and shall be turned into another man. And when Yahushua came up off that hill, the Ruach of Yahuwah hit him, and he would turn back into the son of Alahym from the son of Abba. Thank the Lord. Yeah. Zechariah 12. No, Psalms 89. We still got Zechariah 12. We got to get the other city. Hermon. Y'all know about Hermon, don't you? Y'all remember Hermon? Hermon, the sanctuary? Kat, Rosh, Mim, U, and Nun. That's the house. You got the hill and the house. Said the hill and the house will rejoice in your name. Well, we just talked about the house a little bit the other night, or last night actually. Because who got to build the house? Well, guess what? We're going to knock Psalms 133 out right now. Come on over here to it. Psalms 133 and 1. Behold, how good and pleasant is it for brethren to dwell together in unity. Let's take a look at a few things. Hey, y'all get yourselves together before I get you together for myself. First thing, do I want to look at present? No, I don't. We have unity. That's what we'll look at in this verse. And of course, that is Yakad. That is together, all together, alike, union, unitedness. You got Yod, Kot, and Dalet. It's just as simple as this. The sacrifice of the right hand has separated you. That's why you're all alike. That's why he said there's neither bond nor free, nor Yahudim nor Greek, nor male nor female. All are one in Yahushua HaMashiach, because everyone who has taken on his baptism and been immersed in his death and been circumcised with the circumcision without hands are alike. Everyone who is in Mashiach is alike. You may have different operations and diversity of gifts, but everyone is alike. That's why you see how great it is for breath. Because if you're dwelling together in unity, everyone is alike. Why would you not be unified? 1 Corinthians chapter 1, real quick. First Corinthians 1:1, I believe. Not verse 1, but chapter 1. I want to say probably about verse 10. That might not be right. Verse 10 is what I desire. 1 Corinthians chapter 1 and verse 10. I beseech you, brethren, by the name of our Lord Yahushua HaMashiach, that you all speak the same thing. We just read that last night in Ezekiel 11, did we not? That he given one heart. And there be no divisions among you, that you be perfectly joined together in the same mind and in the same judgment. This is how brethren can dwell perfectly together in unity. What did he pray for in John 17? Abba, make them perfect in one as what? As we are. If you're made perfect in one, are you not dwelling in unity? For it's been declared unto me of you, brethren, by them which are of the house of Chloe, that there are contentions among you. And again, I'm reading this here because this is what we see in everyday life. Now this I say, that every one of you saith, I'm of Paul, I'm of Apollos, I'm of Cephas, I'm of Mashiach. Is Mashiach divided? Was Paul crucified for you? Or were you immersed in the name of Paul? See, that's what we got going on like this here. I'm of this congregation, that congregation, this, that, there, and the third. No, you are Mashiach, because one of y'all baptized in my name, and I definitely wasn't crucified for none of them. See, that's where the division come in at, because everybody's got to feel. That's why I be telling y'all, I don't care where a person's from, what organization they with. If they profess to be servants of Yahuwah, then you should be alike until they show themselves otherwise. If they show themselves as someone who is disorderly, who you should not fellowship with, then you remove yourself. But they had this attitude, they don't fellowship with us. He said, whoever with me is whoever gathered with me is with me, and whoever scattered is apart from me. You can't, because that's the same thought that the apostles did. Oh, they don't run with us. Well, if they on what we on, they're the same as you. What's wrong with you? See, that's pride when they come into that. And why would we have that? You don't need to know some. If you say you are God and you need to know somebody, because that's what a lot of people, we got to vet these niggas. It's wicked at the end of the day. Of course, you can be cautious. But do you really think that if you of Yahuwah, that he would allow you to get caught up with somebody who would do some damage to you? And if they did do some damage to you, do you not understand that this man would render recompense back unto them swiftly? I had a young lady tell me last night, right? She said she knew a chick, right? Messing with a Hebrew dude, he was busting up her back. Then she go to posting the daughter of these Hebrew men making the daughters of Zion whores. But see, here's the thing. That man had told her all he wanted was them sweet watery guts. That's all he wanted. That's all he wanted. He didn't want to be with her. But she thought her vagina was good enough to make him stay. So you went ahead and you threw it to him. And when that nigga got up and he walked away and said, thank you, ma'am, I think I'm going to go get me some new vagina. Now you mad at Yahuwah and mad at these men for doing this here when you did this to yourself. You know what I'm talking about? But see, that's what goes on out here. Is that you're doing this and you're doing that. You're not perfectly together. The individuals uphold it. That's what happens. Because you can't do that. You know what I'm saying? You can't sit back and look at it, oh, sex is, because you got to say sex is marriage, so that's what they're going to do. Well, if you see that, hey, brother, I don't roll with that. There's some things where you can just kind of be like, okay, that's not no big issue. I can still, kick it with you. But once you go to talk about, oh, I can knock these women down, I ain't got to marry them, but this, that, and the third. See, that's a fundamental problem. Now we're dealing with issues. Okay, this is not negotiable. I can't roll with you if that's what you want, son. I got to separate myself. That's what he means, because he told you don't have company with people who are disorderly. Did he not? He told you not to feast with fornicators and sinners and the people of the world. He said not to do it. So, okay, I can't fool with you, bro. You want some other type of time. But if your doctrine is slightly different, you keep a feast day at this time, or you use this name or do this, I'm not going to be beat. I'm not going to just, I can't fool with you on that. But if you around here talking about you can sleep with another man's wife or like this here, like brother say, hey, man, you niggas smoke weed, you can't lead nothing in the organization. I ain't got no problem with that. That's just. Because I promise you, boy, you want to get high and get drunk, how you going to be in front of people, leading people, and you intoxicated? You can't even consistently stay in a sound right mind because you want to alter your mental state consistently and say you want to do the work of Yahuwah when Yahuwah is already elucidated in the text that if you drunk, if you're under the influence, you'll be a dumb dog that can't bark because you'll come in here and mess up stuff in the temple. Because one thing about it, somebody who like to get drunk and get high ain't going to stop when the Sabbath comes. He's still going to take him a little sip and say, I'll be straight. He's still going to tap. Ain't nothing but a little bit of reason. I ain't going to mess nothing up. Let's continue. I thank Alahym that I immersed none of you, but Crispus and Gaius, lest any should say that I had immersed in my own name. And I immersed also the house of Stephanias, besides I know whether I immersed any other. For Mashiach sent me not to immerse, but to preach the gospel, not with wisdom of words, lest the stake of Mashiach should be made of none effect. Look at what he said. Not with wisdom of words. He said he would preach a Mashiach crucified. That was his main key component. Back to Psalms 133. Thank the Lord. Verse 2 of Psalms 133. He said, it is like the precious ointment upon the head that run down upon the beard, even Aaron's beard, that went down to the skirt of his garment. That man say, brethren dwelling in unity is the same as the high priest being anointed. I want you to think about that. That's how he describes it. He describes it as the light bearer being anointed. The same way as you dealing with Yahusha. Let's continue verse 3. As the dew of Hermon, as the dew that descend upon the mounts of Zion, there Yahuwah commanded the blessing, even life evermore. Now he says it's as equal as the dew of Hermon, the dew of the sanctuary, as the dew that comes descend upon the Mount Zion. This is where Yahuwah commanded the blessing. What do y'all think that's referring to? That should be pretty easy. I'll give you dew real quick. Remember, right? Y'all remember dew? Dew is tall. Dew, night mist. Tet and Lamad, be filled with the shepherd. So he said it is as being filled with the shepherd's ruach in the sanctuary. Y'all think about this here, right? When Solomon dedicated the first temple, what happened? Yahuwah's presence filled the sanctuary. You recall what I'm talking about? 2 Kings 6, or 2 Chronicles 6, if you would, if I'm not mistaken. It mentions that. Say the heavens of heaven can't contain you. How much more than this house that I have built? He said this same night mist, because y'all know about the dew, because it mentioned he say even the early and latter rain, the dew is symbolic to the Ruach. You can read Psalm 72 or 73 where it talk about the dew. Also tell you that in Numbers 24, but nevertheless, what is it mentioning this for? What is the purpose? He's telling you that brethren dwelling in unity. Because remember, right, he that sanctifies and he that sanctify all are what? One. For which cause he's not ashamed to call them brethren. This psalm is insinuating and instructing you and letting you know that brethren dwelling in unity is you dwelling in Yahushua. That's why he mentioned Aaron. That's why he mentioned he commanded the blessing to be in Zion or in Jerusalem. What is the blessing? Even life evermore. That's the Ruach HaKadosh. That's why it's a beautiful thing to see brethren dwelling together in unity, because you're in one with Mashiach. And whoever's in Mashiach, that's where it's life. That's why he said Tabor and Hermon will rejoice in your name, because they're healed in the sanctuary. Did we not just read not too long ago that everybody who comes in that house is going to praise and esteem his name when he comes back and delivers all of his saints? Let's look at life evermore, this verse real quick. Is it anything of note that I need to look at? No, it's not. Let's return to Zechariah chapter 12. He done ran off. Looking crazy. Now, we're in verse 8 again. Now, do you see how the house of David will be as Alahym? Because in that day he did become as Alahym. And he that is a feeble among them became as the house of David. Because David was what? A warrior. Yahushua fought the fight that you didn't have to fight. Continuing in Zechariah 12. Verse 9, it shall come to pass in that day that I will seek to destroy all the nations that come against Jerusalem. And I will pour upon the house of David and upon the inhabitants of Jerusalem the ruach of grace and supplications, and they shall look upon me whom they have pierced, and they shall mourn for him as one mourn for his only son, and shall be bitterness for him as one is in bitterness for his firstborn. Now y'all know what that is. That's him on the tree. That's the parent. Listen what it says. In that day there shall be a great mourning in Jerusalem, as the mourning of Hadrimmon in the valley of Megadon. What is the valley of Megadon? That place is called the place of crowds. It's an ancient city of Canaan. It was assigned to Manasseh. Do you want to read that? Let's save time. We don't have time for that. So let's return to Psalms 89.
Yes.
This is something about Josiah. Something about Josiah. What? The place, I guess. Yeah, there's a couple battles there. But we could just let it be known that it's akin to the valley of good old Hymnon, place of crowds. I will gather you to the valley of decision, to the valley of Jehoshaphat. I would say we would have went down a different direction, and I need to get back over here. Psalms 89 and 13. When you look at him breaking Rahab into pieces as one that is slain, we know that he broke Yahusha into pieces as one that is slain. We can read that in Isaiah 53. And then we see that he says, what else? You scattered your enemies with a strong arm. And we can see that if we read Exodus 15. Because we know that Yahusha scattered your enemies with a strong arm, and that enemy being sin and death, because we read that last night in Romans chapter 8. Verse 13. You have a mighty arm and is strong, and you're as strong as your hand, and high as your right hand. Justice and judgment. Sit down. Because you're over here playing. Try to put no sad face on. Suck it up, bucko. You. Fix your face. Fix your face. What you laughing at? Because you can be the next contestant. I'm playing with you, brother. Justice and judgment are your habitation of your throne. Mercy and truth shall go before your face. We just talked about that not too long ago. When you're looking at justice and judgment, you know what that's relating to. You know that's Zadok and Mishpat. You know Zadok is righteousness. So righteousness and judgment are the habitation of his throne. Isaiah chapter, what that is? 15, I believe. Might be 16. Isaiah 16. From Isaiah 16 to Revelation 20, I suppose. You might not even need to read it, but Isaiah 16 and verse 1. Send ye the lamb to the ruler of the lamb. Send you the lamb to the ruler of the lamb from Selah to the wilderness unto the mount of the daughter of Zion. For it shall be that as the wandering bird cast out of the nest, So the daughters of Moab shall be at the cords of Arnon. Take counsel, execute judgment, make your shadow as the night in the midst of the noonday. I, the outcast, berate not him that wanders. Let my outcast dwell with you, Moab. Be you a covert to them to the face of the spoiler. The extortioner is at an end. The spoiler cease. Oppressors are consumed out of the land. And in mercy shall your throne be established. He shall sit upon it in truth and in the tabernacle of David, judging, seeking judgment, and hasting righteousness. So we see here that justice and judgment is the habitation of his throne. Isaiah is alluding to the same thing that David is alluding to in this song. Now, I was going to read Revelation 20, but we don't need to get it because you know what happens at Revelation 20. A throne comes out, and what happens after that? The books are open. And now justice and judgment is going to be the place of his throne. Because every man's going to be judged according to his works as is written in the books. And he told you that he's going to judge men righteously. You can read Psalm 99 for that. Of course, you know mercy and truth go before him because by the law came by Moses. Mercy and Amah came by Yahushua HaMashiach. So this one here is going to say Kased and Amah, but nevertheless, it's still the same thing. Still the same thing. That means that the throne of Alahym, that there's righteousness and judgment and mercy and faith. That's what you're going to find there. It's all the same word. It's nothing different. Let's continue. Verse 15. Blessed is the people that know the joyful sound that shall walk, O Yahuwah, in the light of your countenance. Acts chapter 26, I believe. Oh, you must be hungry. Now, Yahushua told you what? He was the light. And then when he transfigured with his disciples, what was his face doing? So they were able to walk in the light of his countenance because it tells you in Ecclesiastes chapter 8, what does wisdom cause to happen? A man's face to shine. Acts 26 and 18. Get straight to the point and move on. Bye-bye, little person. To open their eyes and to turn them from darkness to light, from the power of the adversary under Alahym, that they may receive forgiveness of sins and inheritance among them which are sanctified by the faith that is in me. So what do we got going on here? If you a man, what do men do when they communicate with each other? They stand face to face. To turn your back to a man while he is speaking to you is one of the most ultimate signs of disrespect. Because in reality, you told him, here's my butt, you can kiss it. And you just do it. There's a lot of things in life you don't do. And inviting a man under your clothes ain't one of them. You know what I'm talking about? So when you're walking in the light of his countenance, that means you're walking before his face. If you're walking before his face, that means you have humbled yourself for him to lead you. Which goes back to what we opened with. Does that mean that you would make yourself someone worthy of his provision for him to provide for you? See, a lot of times, a lot of young men just feel like they got to go get a woman and take care of her and not vet this woman for this woman to prove that she is worthy of such an honor. You don't understand that being made a wife is an honor? Because this man saw fit to say that this is the woman that I shall choose to lead, and this is the woman that I choose to give my seed to, that she might bring it forth. You know what I'm talking about? See, that's not extolled in the earth. So a lot of women just look at being a wife as a rite of passage. This is something I must do to be validated because a nigga chose me to be his wife. But most women get chosen by men of low quality to be their wife. That ain't nothing to be proud of. That ain't no different than it went through. Because that's what the chick was asking me this here, right? She was like, why do men, y'all can give my personal opinion. She said, why do men have different standards for a woman's vagina versus their penis? Her point was, why can a man sleep with all types of different type of women, no matter what they are, but if a woman does it, she's looked at as a whore? I say, well, baby, that's simple. It's not difficult for you to get penis. All you got to do is walk outside. You know what I'm talking about? See, if you're not a man of extreme means and status that is known, you got to put in some work to get some booty. unless you're around a lot of women and they're in close proximity to you, then you may not have to work as hard to have sex with them. But if you're talking about just going out the door and saying, let me see how many hoes I can bag, it only happened in the movies. Dudes just going and getting women and randomly sleeping with them. Because for a man, he got to put in some work to get that. You ain't got to do nothing. Hopefully none of you have went somewhere and just decided you saw a man and say, I'm going to have sex with him today and we going home with me. Indeed, and there's more women than men.
They all going out there. Niggas following the line.
They following them. You know what? Dude on the Joe Budden podcast with Kim Samuels on there said something that is highly, highly real, basically, because I'm not involved in what the world is involved in. I wouldn't be if I wasn't in the world. But he was like, the times past is that the women gravitated to the men. And now the men are gravitating to the women. He was talking about like going after the, like, why niggas chase women who get on the internet and expose their body and get butt naked is beyond me. You know what I'm saying? But these niggas are pursuing open whores. Instead of the women gravitating to what you got going on to see how they can get down with you, you gravitated to the women to see how you can get down with the women because you're chasing vagina. And she's giving it away. She doesn't even put a value on it. See, dudes look at it like, oh, she getting money from OnlyFans or this, that, there, and the third. But when it comes down to the dudes she having sex with, them dudes is not giving her money like these tricks are. See, that's what most dudes don't understand. Them dudes that pay these women to look at these women on these sites, the dude who breaking her back ain't giving her nothing. He ain't giving her nothing. Yeah, she might have a dude in person, buy a bag, take her a trip, but he ain't hitting. Or if he hitting, she rationing it out. But the dude who she's sleeping with on a regular basis ain't giving her nothing. He don't even view her in that capacity, and she loves it. I heard a dude on a video many moons ago say something that's real, that if you treat a woman like a celebrity, she's going to treat you like a fan. I don't know why dudes believe that they could take a woman and personalize her and celebrate her and think that she is not going to look at you as if you are beneath her. Because she is. And some of y'all women might have had a dude who did like that, and you're like, it was cute for a second, and after a while you were disgusted. Because you're supposed to be celebrating him. It's in your nature. It's something in you that tell you, like, this is backwards. It's backwards. That's what we see in the earth because we celebrate men. We don't celebrate Alahym. That's why so many people are unfulfilled. It's backwards. You're celebrating the wrong people. You know what I'm saying? You know how sad it is? We pray to God for material items. Please, Lord, I need a blessing. I need a new car. Not a new car because you need to get stuff done, but because you want to be flashy. That's the world we live in. Niggas flash for the internet. Nigga create a whole internet life. Nigga is not even sleeping on a blow-up mattress. These niggas, come on, man. These hoes were sleeping in the back of U-Haul vans, man. Just to go to the All-Star game that they couldn't even view with the hopes of getting ravished by a rich man. You went and slept in a U-Haul van so you could have sex with a rich man, hoping that he would slip up and get you pregnant so you could get child support checks for 18 years. Ain't this about a hoe? They were talking about that on that too, man. Out of all they said that when, and I read this before. He mentioned a different report. I done told y'all about the Kerner Commission. Any of y'all ever looked up the Kerner Commission? That's when they stated they were going through that segregation was the worst thing, integration, was the worst thing that ever happened to Black people. This was something that was created by Lyndon Johnson before he left office. I think it came to completion by like 1980. And it just showed how the numbers for marriage, business, community, everything went down. You know what I'm saying? After integration. Now, what they were talking about on the Joe Budden podcast was when Lyndon B. Johnson came with the welfare from the Great Society, they thought it was going to be temporary, but Black women ended up taking the check and rejecting the man, and they say they weren't prepared for that. I don't believe that part. I believe you strategically did that because you know that women are consumers, and if they can see an instance, like I heard a woman say, my grandma was miserable because she had to be a housewife. What about what she wanted? Nigga, what? She said grandma got taken care of. She never worked. She never paid a bill. And she talking about she lost herself. You ungrateful skank. That's when you have to take that bald-headed funky hoe and let her go out here and fend for herself. You know what I'm saying? These are the type of women that are out here and telling you they want you to take care of them, but then they're going to resent you because you took care of them. Because you said you want to stay home, you didn't want to pay no bills, but now you mad with me because I ain't had no life. Well, Alahym, that's what you was created for. You were created to be a consort to a man and to raise children. You were not created to be some boss babe, no CEO. You weren't created for that. Because most of y'all don't even want to work like that. Do you know how much work it takes to, you know how to do it before. Women around here calling themselves CEO, you said weave. The next time you see somebody say they're a CEO, this is what I want you to ask them. Who's your chief financial officer and who's your chief operating officer? And if you ain't got one, stop lying, ho. You an owner operator. Call it what it is. Y'all know people who say they're a CEO, ain't got no corporation. Corporations got offices. You just want to call yourself a CEO because it sounds cool. Don't know other women walk around calling themselves no CEO. Don't see no Indian woman talking about, I'm a CEO. She work at that quickie bar and she get you them slushes, nigga. You know what I'm saying? A white woman ain't calling herself a CEO unless she is a CEO. I'm just talking about mentalities. It's like this here. All women are only people that have this mentality. And the mentality is actually deeply ingrained hatred and disdain for Yahuwah. You know, some women are mad that Yahuwah made them a woman and they wish they were a man.
That's the psychological disorder of the misogynist and
Yeah.
transgenders in the
Oh, you talking about he can hold her titties off.
Right.
The non-binary. Talking about I'm a they. Nigga, what is a they?
You just hate who you is.
Yeah, and you hate Yahuwah because he made you this way. Because you wish you were a man. That's all it's ever been, too. For bull daggers, for punks. Now they tell you can't call nobody no faggot. I need a bundle of sticks then. How about that? So that's what a faggot is. It's a bundle of sticks. I ain't got nothing to do with the fact that you thought I was talking about a nigga getting anally penetrated. That's what's on the back of a dime. Them bundle of sticks on a dime, that's a faggot. Bundles of sticks. Since you say I can't say faggot, what's up, bundle of sticks? That's what you like, a bundle of sticks. So you can walk around here and switch with your faggot self. Well, I ain't no homosexual. I said a bundle of sticks, nigga. That's when you pull up definition, nigga. Faggot, bundle of sticks, nigga. Wrong, nigga. Get your education up. If I wanted to call you a homosexual, I call you a pillow biter with your faggot self.
Well, you got a good year left on you.
My videos are not for kids. And this channel ain't monetized. You know what I'm talking about? Straight up. Channel can't do nothing to you when you ain't monetized. We don't get no money. So screw your community guidelines. You know what I'm talking about? And if you feel like you a faggot, we'll shoot your mammy and your daddy is one too. That's what we tell you to. Because guess what? We'll start another one. I say the same thing. Your mammy a faggot, your daddy a faggot, your uncle a faggot. You know what I'm talking about? All you niggas faggots. That's why they wanted to get rid of, like they said, nigga, I ain't famous, so I don't care. Straight up and down. We ain't gonna leave you slacking. Y'all that said the channel ain't gonna be named but the same thing. They take it down, it just be the same name with a number behind it. That's all you gotta type in there and look. They can't use that name, we put a number behind it. And they just go in order. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, they say you violate the community guideline. That's why the boys get on Patreon. And see, I wouldn't do that because you have to pay for that. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, I would go because you go on Patreon and say whatever you want. You know what I'm saying? But you gotta pay for that.
I thought you just said it though.
You can. I mean, you could set it to the point where it would only be like $1. Yeah. But the person gets to set it. Now the channel can set it to where you can make it higher than the $1 threshold.
I thought you can set it under.
No, I don't believe you can. But of course, I haven't looked, so don't quote me. But I know you can set it as low as $1. As far as the base price to get on the channel. That's the lowest I've ever seen it is $1. You know what I'm saying? Because if y'all don't know about Patreon, you can set it per creation or just flat. Because per creation means every piece of content that's put on Patreon. Well, if you got it set at $10 and a person make 10 videos, they're gonna charge you $100. But you can set it however you want. I just heard a nigga say, dude made like Kira says you don't have to set it to be paid on Patreon unless they change it.
Yeah,
okay, because I don't know.
I seen that on there when I looked.
Yeah, I didn't know.
You did, or you can do it.
Yeah, because I wouldn't charge. Yeah, I wouldn't charge for that at all. That's optional. You know what I'm talking about? But I know I heard him say, what that boy say, Jordan Peterson, old psychologist, said that man make $500,000 a month on Patreon. I'm like, wow. You know what I'm talking about? Indeed. That's a lot of money, boy. $500,000 a month.
Great money.
He do. Jordan Peterson go hard.
I didn't know that.
White dude, psychiatrist. They had sized him because he had said something. He called a faggot he, and he said, call me a they. And then they say, you cannot lawfully compel me to use your pronouns. If I want to call you a man, I'm going to call you a man. And that's it. And he said, basically telling men to stop being grass-feeding lions, if you would. Stop being hoes and be men. White dude, Canadian too. He do be snapping, and he be on the 10 minutes and smashing them hoes. Like this here, bop, bop, bop. They be looking at him, I can't stand you. Cool, calm, and collected, and paired them hoes every time, as he ought. You know what I'm saying? But he does it because he's a man, and he refuses to capitulate and compromise his masculinity for a woman. And he is not an overly physically imposing looking man. He's your average, everyday looking white man. But that white man is a very masculine man because he's assertive and he is direct and he means exactly what he says and he is not compromising. And he know what he's talking about. Lethal combination. You know what I'm saying? Which I would tell him a homegirl last night. Like, that's why niggas don't. That's why I said that's why you and your band of crew don't like Kevin Samuels, because he's direct, he does not compromise, and he tells you the truth. I say like the difference, like when I tell her the same things that he may say, it's just because you just say you like the way that I speak it to you. But I also know you personally. So it's different talking to someone who you know personally, who has shared insight into their life. I understand why you think the way that you think, how you arrive to your conclusions. Because we've also seen that if a woman don't get on there talking greasy, he don't talk to them like that. Because if a hoe talk to me greasy, I'm going to talk to them the same way he talk to them. I don't know who you think you're talking to. You know what I'm saying? Your daddy should have pulled out and your mom should have swallowed. That's what Willie D say. That's the problem, because he mentioned this, and I've seen this here, that women feel like they can talk to men any kind of way. You don't talk to a few men any kind of way in your life, ain't you? Now, what if the men would have decided to turn around and slap you dead in your mouth? What you would have did? So you really think you could be the man? See, but that's the point. You do think you can be it, because you thought enough that you could talk to him any kind of way. And if the fact that if he reacted violently, the first thing came to your mind was you going to square up and box with him. So you did think you could be it. And it would have all it would have took was one man to show you that you can't whoop no man. I don't care how big and bad you think you is. You might have been whooping on them hoes at Inglewood High School. But I'm gonna show you what this left hook is.
But most of the men's image.
So that no. That means that you're even worse of a woman at the time because you purposely found weak men who you could intimidate and berate because you knew there was no chance for physical violence.
That's true.
That's why you did it. Because if you felt like that nigga was gonna turn around and fire off on you, you would have thought twice before you opened your mouth.
You treated like what you did that.
Straight up, you'd have gave that man respect. You'd have gave that. If you felt like you knew, oh, come on, man, all y'all women know it. You can't sell me that. If you know that nigga gonna fire off, you gonna watch how you talk to that man. That's my point. So you was doing that because you felt like you could whoop them niggas.
If he did want to be a man.
If he did want to hook up and be like, what's up, ho? Would have been like, yeah, nigga.
Yeah.
I got something for you. Pop, pop. You can't fight, whole nigga. But guess what? The weakest of men punch harder than you. I'm telling you, the weakest of men. Because all it would have took was one showstopper. You'd be like this. Whoa, that nigga hit hard.
You lift this for the Mr.
Woo! Lift it off of it. I ain't saying that to be fun. I'm saying that to understand the mindset of where you would even get to the point that you would have that strong of a level of contempt for a man that you felt like that you could berate him, disrespect him verbally, and beat him up. And you're a woman. That's insane.
Oh, heard you want
I don't keep up with the rappers. Come on back to Psalms 89. I only see stuff when I see it. But guess what? Because let me tell you something with men. Well, listen, let me tell you something with men. Because you won't have men walk around and be like, oh, I'm scared of this nigga. But you definitely got men know, hey, boy, certain niggas, boy, hey, I'm not going to play with cuz like that because I'm going to have to box this nigga and I don't feel like boxing today.
That nigga don't box.
Or that nigga don't box. You know what I'm saying? I got to have my
That's this first quarter.
That's facts. Or he don't box.
He's not box.
You know what I'm saying?
Just be prepared.
Just be prepared. Be sticked up and prayed up. Because you might get Swiss cheesed up playing rock. See, y'all don't live with that. Like we done had that conversation before. Ain't none of you women walking around thinking about there's an opportunity of violence between you and another woman. You ain't thinking about if I talk to this woman any kind of way, we might fight. But a man knows he can't talk to a man any kind of way. There is an opportunity that nigga gonna up his fire or throw his setup. And in these days of time, he might up his fire. And now you finna lose your life. See, that's one of the things too. When you go out in public, you got a woman. Y'all whole niggas need to be quiet in their movie theater. Tell him, baby. No, you on your own. Because you ain't finna get me jumped by 150 people in here because you feel like you that entitled to disrespect everybody in this movie theater. And I'm your big bad protector. Shoot, I'm with y'all, nigga. Before they brought that over. Straight up and down. You finna set me up like that. Now I got to die for your honor. Absolutely not. That nigga shot, they say I can't fight nobody, whether masculine or not. I'm just gonna excuse myself. No, I was like to say, all y'all done seen the stuff where a woman gets a man in a physical altercation that she provoked because she's not understanding there's going to be violence. And now this man has been killed or beaten severely because of her. You know what I'm talking about? Absolutely not. Yeah, you go around and talk to people. My man gonna do this here. I ain't gonna do nothing, cuz you know what? I've been looking for a reason to get me a new woman. And today it has arrived. Because usually white women do this. You know what I'm saying? And they get you in a situation where it's 15 burly men who finna jump on you. And she really think you can beat all these men. And then when these men beat you up, now she lose respect for you because you got beat up. Verse 16, Psalms 89. Shall they say, plus I know I would lose, I cannot fight. Hey, she ain't wrong, because you know the saddest part, niggas who know they can't fight but want to fight. I whoop these whole niggas in here. Nigga like, come on, bro, you know you can't fight. What? Boy, you got an 0-15 career record. Well, I remember I was in the county, dude say, boy, don't mess up your perfect record, boy. You're 0-0. I said, but it was funny because the dude he was referring to was actually in there for killing women. But we didn't know that at the time. They had him locked up for something else trying to put the cases on him. That's when that white dude said, come on over here, come get your son. That white dude jumped off that bunker and beat that nigga down. What they called him Downy soft after that. He should have whooped a nasty bastard. I hope they put the needle in his arm by now. Psalms 89 and 16. Yeah, he was raping and killing women. Yeah. Oh, If people black dudes do that, then you think. Especially that rape. Especially that rape. Unfortunately, I know somebody personally did 10 for him. And I seen him about a year or so ago. Aunt Bo. Aunt Bo raped an old white woman on Jack's Beach. Oh, the big strong fine.
That's it.
That's it.
He got on.
Shoot. But I wasn't shocked that he would rape somebody because he was always sexually frustrated. He couldn't get no boo. And he didn't know how to handle it.
White woman? That seems like that's mental. That's mental.
No, that older white lady, man, they gave 10 years. Though. He signed off for 10 years. He took 10 years. Let me say that gave. He took 10 years. He played out of 10 years.
Oh, wow.
I was like, yeah. Because I was locked up with him. Somebody like, yeah, boy, you don't know what he in here for? I'm like, yeah, I'm a homeboy. I know that nigga. He in here for Ray. I said, yeah, I don't know that nigga.
I take that. I retract that.
I retract that. We don't hang with child molesters and rapists, boy. That's a surefire way to get stabbed and bust across your head. I'm good over there. You stay over there, my chick. Don't hang with, especially not no child molester. You ain't hanging with no child molester. See, that's different in the county. You accused prison or you in here for that. Stay away from it. Verse 14, 15, 16. Psalms 89, verse 16. In your name shall they rejoice all the day. Your righteousness shall be exalted. For you are the strength, the glory of their strength, and in your favor our horn shall be exalted. Let's look at favor real quick, guys. Y'all know what that is. That's ratzon. Y'all know that is pleasure, delight, favor, goodwill. Most importantly, acceptance. So when we're looking at horn, that is Koren. I think we talked about this not too long ago too. Kuf, Rosh, and Nun. All it is that the last Adam is life. That's why you're exalting in that horn, that flask, the container of oil, but most importantly, a musical instrument. Let's continue. For Yahuwah is our defense. The Kadash one of Yasharal is our king. There we go. This is what we're here for. You spake in a vision to your Kadash one and said, I have laid help on one that is mighty. I have exalted one chosen out of the people. This is 1 Samuel 16, what's referring to. Let's go look at it. 1 Samuel chapter 16 and verse 1. And Yahuwah said unto Samuel, how long will you mourn for Saul, seeing that I have rejected him from reigning over Yasharal? Fill your horn with oil and go. And I will send you to Jesse the Bethlehemite, for I have provided me a king among his sons. Samuel said, how can I go? If Saul hear it, he will kill me. And Yahuwah said, take a heifer with you and say, I come to sacrifice to Yahuwah. Jesse, and call Jesse to the sacrifice, and I will show you what to do. And you shall anoint unto me him who I name unto you. Let's drop down a little bit. Verse 7. But Yahuwah said unto Samuel, look not on his countenance, on the height of his stature, because I have refused him. For Yahuwah see not as man see, for man look on outward appearance, but Yahuwah look on the heart. Then Jesse called Abinadab and made him pass before Samuel, and he said, neither have Yahuwah chosen this. Then Jesse said to Shemaiah to pass by, he said, neither have Yahuwah chosen this. Jesse made 7 of his sons to pass before Samuel, and Samuel said unto Jesse, Yahuwah have not chosen these. Samuel said unto Jesse, are all your sons, are here all your sons? He said, there remain yet the youngest, and behold, he keep the sheep. Samuel said unto Jesse, send and fetch him, for he will not sit down till he come hither. And he sent and brought him in. Now he was ruddy withal, a beautiful countenance, and goodly to look to. Yahuwah said, arise, anoint him, for this is he. Then Samuel took the horn of the oil and anointed him in the midst of his brethren. And the Ruach of Yahuwah came upon David from that day forward. So Samuel rose up and went to the Ramah. So this is where you see it, right? He had spake in a vision to his Kadash one, saying, I have laid one help on the mighty, and I've exalted one chosen out of the people. That's referring to David. This is what it's referencing. Come back to verse 20. And here it is. I have found David, my servant, with my Kadash oil have I anointed him, with whom my hand shall be established. My arm also shall strengthen him, The enemy shall not exact upon him, nor the son of wickedness shall afflict him. And we know with David that never happened. Exact is to lift up. That is to him to be a debtor. Was David a debtor to anyone? So guess what? Yahushua wasn't in debt to anyone either. He said the enemy also will not be upon the son of wickedness, will not afflict him. And that is a not. That is to be humbled or to be afflicted. And guess what? Now, David had people who came after him, but did they ever get a chance to personally afflict him? Saul never got his hands on it. Absalom never got his hands on it. When we look at Yahushua, the son of wickedness did not afflict him, that being the devil. Let's return. Verse 3. He said, I will beat down his foes before his face and plague them that hate it. Let's look at plague. Plague is nagah. That is to be stricken or to be smitten. That is noon, that is gamal, and that is pay. You can tell me what you got. Noon, gamal, and pay. I can't hear you, Sam. And I'm saying that because my ear clogged, so I just. The messenger's word is life. He definitely did always slip away until the time appointed for him to die. And that's a fact. And that's another proof positive of they didn't exact on him, and the sons of wickedness didn't afflict him until the time. And this one here, looking at it, so we got the noon and gamal. I'd probably say right this here, right, that the seed lifted up that word. And then the only reason why I say that is because he said that he will plague those that hate. Because of the pride that they lifted themselves up in, that same very word is going to take their life from them. And Yahushua told them that also. And he also said that in the book of Revelations, that you'll be judged according to your work. And he also said in John 5, because we read it every week, he said, you have one that accused you, even Moses, in whom you trust. That's what I tell you, that's what your man BOA said last other night. You want to talk about every man should have at least 2 women. He talking about, like, you done drunk that Jesus juice. Talking about he come around here changing laws. He said he ain't take away nothing or add nothing to the law. And that's an individual, when they say that, you got to let them have that. I would actually look him in the face and say, you know what, brother, you're right. And the veil of Moses still upon your eyes every Shabbat what the prophets have read. Walk away. You know what I'm saying? It's just the way that you talking, I know you're not, because you're not esteeming Yahuwah. See, he think he esteeming Yahuwah in this conversation, but you're not. You're really esteeming the desires of men. You're not even promoting niggas to repent. Only thing you talking about is Sabbath and not eating pork. That's it. You're not talking about an overarching and over godly individual. But see, that's how people get God. I'm telling you. I would talk. A brother had made a post about Kyrie Irving being a Muslim, keeping Ramadan, and they was like, I thought he was an Israelite. And I'm like, why? Because he mentioned it. I said, this man is a hermeticist. They was like, oh man, they didn't know this. I said, that's how you niggas gonna be deceived. Because I've been telling y'all for years, that's all it takes. Dudes right here talking about T.I. waking up to the truth, and you find out this him and his wife having gang bangs. You know what I'm saying? Gang bang. Who wants to gang bang this pig? Not I said the cat.
Just bring him up and bring him to the car.
Come on. Come on.
Nobody going in that pig.
Ain't nobody going in that pig style. Well, you don't suck your thumb in real life. You do not suck your thumb in real life. Where we at? We're in verse 24. But my faithfulness and my mercy shall be with him, and in my name shall his horn be exalted. I will set his hand also in the sea, and his right hand in the rivers. He shall cry unto me, you are my Abba, my Alahym, and the rock of my salvation. I will also make him my firstborn, higher than the kings of the earth. My mercy will I keep for him forevermore, and my covenant shall stand fast with him. We look at that covenant, stand fast. That is a man. And y'all know what a man is, right? Do you remember? That's another word for faith. It will be supported and confirmed in its faithful. You know? Huh? Let's take a look at something. First and foremost, that he will cry out that he is my father, my Alahym, and the rock of my salvation. I want us to go over here to John chapter 5 on the house. I bet brothers be going back and forth about polygamy. That's their thing. That's their thing. That's just a bunch of broke dudes who can't. Because Kamora asked me this. She said, why do dudes who believe in polygyny don't tell their wives they want more than one woman? I say, because they cowards. They scared she gonna deal. Now, that's not every dude. It's a lot of dudes, because you see too many people post about it. Oh, he said he wanted another wife. He ain't never tell me. I ain't agree to this. So just keep it a buck. You want another woman, and tell her that. Stop lying. What you lying to a woman for? I never understood that. Even to get a woman, what you lying to her for?
No.
John 5 and 17. But Yahushua answered, my Abba work here too, and I work. Therefore the Yahudim sought the more to kill him, because not only had he broken Shabbat, but said also that Alahym was his Abba, making himself equal with Alahym. So I just want us to focus on the parts, because I know you know where it's at, where he directly said that this is his father. Because why is this the case? Because he said, I'm making my firstborn higher than the kings of the earth. Well, you know what Exodus say? Let Israel go, that is my what? My firstborn. We just said he called his firstborn out of Egypt. Did he not say you'll be a peculiar treasure, a kingdom of priests above what? All nations. And all that's pointing to Yahushua, because he would make a kingdom of priests, because he told you in Revelation 20 that you would reign with him as what? As kings and priests for what? 1,000 years. So when we're looking at this here, right, because we know that he made Yahushua his firstborn higher than all the kings of the earth. I want one more witness for him saying this is his father. And John 10 is the spot. And I really just looking at spots where he directly said this in front of everyone. John 10 and 27. My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. And I give unto them eternal life, and they shall never perish, neither shall any man pluck them out of my hand. My Abba, which gave them me, is greater than all. No man is able to pluck them out of my hand, out of my Abba's hand. I and my Abba are one. The Yahudim took up stones again to stone him. Yahushua answered them, many good works have I showed you from my Abba. But for which of those works do you stone me? The Yahudim answered and saying, for a good work we stone you not, but for blasphemy, because you, being a man, make yourself Alahym. And that is correct. And that's definitely what he stated. I want to miss something in my mind. I want to go to Acts 1. Is that what I want? No. It might be John 20. Give me a second. In my brain, I'm trying to remember where it's at. Yep. John 20 is what I wanted. John chapter 20, verse 13. Listen to what he say now. Because he said, listen to what he said, right? He said he will cry unto him, you are my father, my Alahym, and the rock of my salvation. And he about to tell Mary Magdalene this. John 20 and 13. Make it 20 and 12. Actually 20 and 11. But Mary stood with us at the sepulchre weeping. As she wept, she stooped down and looked into the sepulchre. Hey, boy. Cut it out. Cut it out. And see two Malachim in white sitting, one at the head, the other at the feet, where the body of Yahusha had lain. And they said unto her, woman, why weep you? She said unto them, because they taken away my Lord, and I know not what they have done with him, where they have laid him. When she had said thus, she turned herself back and saw Yahusha standing, and knew not that it was Yahusha. Yahusha said unto her, woman, why weep you? Who seek you? She, supposing him to be the gardener, said unto him, sir, if you born him thence, tell me where you have laid him, and I will take him away. Yahusha said unto her, Mary. She turned herself and saith unto him, Rabboni, which is to say, master. Yahusha said unto her, touch me not, for I'm not yet ascended to my Abba, but go to my brethren, and say unto them, I ascend unto my Abba, and your Abba, and to my Alahym, and to your Alahym. Is that not what he just cried out and said, that this is my Father and my Alahym, and the fact that he resurrected from the dead is proof positive that he is the rock of his salvation. And that thou, that is also proof positive that he is the firstborn higher than the kings of the earth. And Colossians chapter 1 will be our continual confirmation of this. And let's return there right now. Hey, boy. Hey, boy, you're being rude. You don't even suck your thumb in real life. Is that a new thing for us? Or is that just a momentary thing? Oh, he's sleeping. You sleeping, son? You sleeping? Oh, so you good. Colossians 1:15. Who is the image of the invisible Alahym, the firstborn of every creature? For by him were all things created that are in Shamahim, that are in the earth, visible and invisible, whether they be thrones or dominions or principalities or powers. All things were created by him and for him. And he is before all things, and by him all things consist. He is the head of the body, the head of the house, who is the beginning, the firstborn from the dead, that in all things that he might have preeminence. For it pleased Abba that in him should all fullness dwell, having made shalom through the blood of his stake, by him to reconcile all things unto himself. By him I say, whether they be things in the earth or things in heaven. So now you see this here, right? Because he's known as what? What does it tell you in Deuteronomy? That he's the King of kings and the Lord of lords. So you got to understand, son, Yahuwah set the house of David above every king on the face of the earth. That's what he promised him when he promised him that Samuel would sit on his throne. I mean, that Solomon, would sit on his throne. Come on back over here to Psalms 89, verse 28. You must be your captain. Where you going to go, Abby? Where you going to go, Abby? There's nowhere for you to go. There's no. Hey, there's Abby. Oh, there's Abby. Oh, there's Abby. Uh-oh. Get your fingers out of her mouth. That's disgusting. You want somebody to put their fingers in your mouth? Huh? And then you're smelling. That's weird. Of what?
I'm getting embarrassed.
Oh, you talking about that to an extent, but also there's something else to that. It don't come to my mind immediately why he told her not to touch. But basically, also, you know, there was a defiling aspect. But nevertheless, but that count do start for that though. But really, he done waved once he came out of the grave. Psalms 89, verse 28. My mercy will I keep for him forever. And we already talked about that. We know that the mercy of Alahym is always with Yahusha. And we know that the covenant of the new covenant is an everlasting covenant that cannot be broken because the Ruach HaKadosh is given to it. And it's a covenant that is life everlasting, which makes it greater than the first covenant. Verse 29, his seed also will I make to endure forever, and his throne as the days of heaven. Now ask yourself this question. How long is the throne of the days of heaven? Everlasting. He said that he will make his seed forever. That is Ayin and Dalet. They know the sacrifice, because that is for perpetuity, forever of Alahym's existence, continuing. So you're talking about an everlasting seed. That's why he said, he that believe in him shall never taste death. We already talked about this. The ruach that I put upon you is upon your seed, and upon your seed from henceforth and forever. Those who are not seeds of many, but seeds of one, that seed being Mashiach, those who are born of his seed live forever. That's what that Psalms 89 is telling you. It's guiding you to the point that it was telling you that there's a man who's going to be slain, and according to a promise to David, that this man is going to be righteous, he's going to judge properly, he's going to have mercy and faith with him, and because of it, I am going to make him my firstborn. I'm going to make him higher than the kings of the earth. He is going to acknowledge that I am his father, that I am his Alahym, and that I am the rock of his salvation, and all those who come from him will never taste death. I think we usually be at the same time every year. It don't really be no switch about a day or two off. Listen what he said. He said, but if his children forsake my law and will not walk in my judgments, if they break my statutes and keep not my commandments, then I will visit their transgression with the rod and their iniquity with stripes. That's the same thing he told David about Solomon. With his stripes, you are what? Healed. That's what the book said. Nevertheless, my loving kindness I will not utterly take from him, nor suffer my faithfulness to fail. Remember what he told David? I will not take my loving kindness away from you like I took it from Saul. That's why that's in there. So that let you know that that loving kindness was going to be with Yahushua. He would never take it from him. That's why David had the opportunity to be forgiven, and Saul did not. Because Saul was evil and David was not. Let's continue, because I'm trying to get all this chapter. We don't have to come back. Verse 34, my covenant will I not break, nor alter the thing that has gone out of my lips. Once I have sworn by my Kadash, I will not lie unto David. His seed shall endure forever, and his throne as the sun before me. What did he say in the text about the sun? He told you in Jeremiah that if you can stop the sun from coming up in its time and the moon coming up in its time, matter of fact, this is the only look at it. Ain't no sense playing with it. Jeremiah 33. Jeremiah 33 and 19. Oh, yeah. Jeremiah 33 and 19. The word of Yahuwah came unto Jeremiah, saying, thus saith Yahuwah, if you can break my covenant of the day and my covenant of the night, that there should not be day and night in their season, then they may also my covenant be broken with David my servant, and he should not have a son to reign upon his throne, and with the Levites, the priests, my ministers. That man said, if you can get rid of day and night, then Yahushua won't sit on his throne. That's why he said his throne will endure as the sun before me. What did he tell you about the sun? He said, heaven and earth shall last until he make a new heaven and a new earth. He says, the host of heaven cannot be numbered, neither the sand of the sea measured. So I multiply the seed of David, my servant, and the Levites that minister unto me. Moreover, the word of Yahuwah came unto Jeremiah, saying, consider you not what this people have spoken, saying the two families which Yahuwah have chosen, he have cast them off. Thus have they despised my people. They should no more be a nation before me, before them. Thus saith Yahuwah, if my covenant be with not day and night, and if I have not appointed the ordinances of heaven and earth, then I will cast away the seed of Jacob and David my servant, and I shall not take any of his seed to be ruler over the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and I will cause their captivity to return and have mercy on them. So he's letting you know that seed is going to endure forever. And that throne is going to endure forever. And we already looked at that throne. That throne is inhabited with what? Justice and judgment. Let's return to Psalms 89. But yeah, we usually start counting that New Year's run from the equinox, which is about March 19th. Yeah, it don't really change. Verse 37. Psalms 89. It shall be established forever as the moon and as a faithful witness in Shamahin, Selah. That man said that throne or that seed I should say, excuse me, is established forever as the moon. It's a faithful witness. Well, how is the moon a faithful witness? Because it said it's the lesser light, and that the sun is the greater light. The moon, when you look at the text, the lesser light is symbolic of Mashiach. Because you know, all the moon does is reflect the light of the sun. That's all that it does. All the sun did was reflect the light of his Father. But he said it's a faithful witness. See, that's why we got to look at this. Revelation chapter 3. Bruh. That boy scooped him. Where about that? Yeah, 6. No, Revelation chapter 3 and 14. Only a small respite, I believe. And it returns. I think it might, now at this point, it might be wax, water, eardrops, and hydrogen peroxide.
Might use both.
Just go get it.
I mean, you need to go see.
You don't want to get flushed.
I don't have time to get it flushed.
It's just like any time.
It don't feel good.
Well, clearly you done had it done, huh? You made your toes curl, huh? Nasty nigga. She was like I said, they never did. He'll never do me like that. See, that's a different type of person. I just go see him, ain't nothing even in my ear. Revelation 3 and 14. And unto the Alahym of the house of the Doshians, write these things, saith the Amen, the faithful and true witness, the beginning of the creation of Alahym. I just wanted to come here for you to see that he said he the faithful witness. Because that's what he just said about the moon. Who's the only witness of the Father? He said, no man has ever seen the Father at any time, nor seen his shape, nor heard his voice. Is that not what he said? Let's return back to Psalms 89. Verse 38. But if you cast off and abhorred, you have been wroth with your anointed. You have made void the covenant of your servant. You have profaned his crown by casting it to the ground. Did he not make void his covenant by letting Yahushua die and casting his throne to the ground? You have broken down all his hedges. You have brought his strongholds to ruin. You could have no power to do anything to me unless it was given to you from above. All that pass by the way spoil him. He's a reproach to his neighbors. Y'all know what that is, right? The mocking, the derision. You have set up the right hand of his adversaries. You have made all his enemies to rejoice. Now, of course, you know, this never happened to David. That didn't even happen to Solomon. You have also turned the edge of his sword and have not made him to stand in the battle. You have made his glory to cease and cast his throne down to the ground. The days of his youth have you shortened. You have covered him with shame. Selah. You already know this is plain. How long, Yahuwah, would you hide yourself forever? Shall your wrath burn like a fire? Remember how short my time is. Wherefore you have made all men in vain. What man is he that live and shall not see death? Shall he deliver his soul from the hand of the grave? Selah. Look at the question. Now he wants you to consider again. What man is he that live and shall not see death? Is there any man that has lived and not seen death? I'll only tell you about two. And Elijah. But guess what? Yahushua saw death. And he said, shall he deliver his soul from the hand of the grave? Well, we know that he delivered his soul from the hand of the grave. Did he not? That is Malai. When you're dealing with, will he escape? We talked about him escaping death last night. Look at verse 49. Lord, where are your former loving kindnesses, which you swear unto David in your truth? Remember, Lord, the reproach of your servants. How do I bear in my bosom the reproach of all the mighty people? Wherewith your enemies have reproached, O Yahuwah, wherewith you have reproached the footsteps of your anointed. Blessed be Yahuwah forevermore. Amen, amen. And all this it bears is, he said that, it's in the mind, it's not coming out right. The reproaches of them that reproached thee fell on me. Now, the question that's being asked is, how do I bear the bosom in my bosom, the reproach of all the mighty people? The reproach is not there. We'll look at Cole, and it's all totality. That's in between that. Let's take a look at that because we're going to wrap this up. We at 2:35. Now, when you look at reproach, of course, it's korpah. This is a disgrace. We just talked about that not too long ago. A disgrace. And he said, I do bear. Bear is nasab. So y'all know what that is. In the bosom, which is the hollow part, the midst. That's kot. Kot, yad, and kuf. So we look at it and see that the light of Yahushua has been separated. So he bear that in his bosom. Remember, that's what he said in Numbers 16. That's what Moses said. Have I bared all these people in my bosom? Am I a nursing mother to these people? Yahushua bared all these people in his bosom, and he bared their reproach, because the reproach is not there. That word for reproach is not pressed. It's just, do I bear in my bosom all mighty people? Just at one time. That second reproach is not there. So he said, do I bear in my bosom the reproach of his kinsmen or kindred? That's Ayin and me. He knows that he must shed his blood. So he's asking, remember, Lord, the reproach of your servants. How do I bear in my bosom all of my kindred? All my kinsmen. I take you to the kinsman redeemer. Because he knows that he has to shed blood. Let's go back to something Saran mentioned earlier. He knew when this hour, when this time was, he was willing to do this. That's why I say your enemies have reproached, and they reproach the footsteps of your anointed. And we know that they dishonor and shame everything that Yahushua did. And then it ends with blessing Yahuwah. Because notice how it states how he's going to make him his firstborn, and then it goes into his suffering right after that. If you always notice when it talks about the exaltation, the suffering is usually before it or after it. Because in order for him to be the firstborn, he had to suffer. That's something that we all have to look at, because in order to roll with him, guess what you're going to have to do? You have to suffer with him. That's what Paul said. You know what I'm saying? Don't be ashamed of to be a prisoner of the Lord and to bear that shame with it. But hallelujah for Yahushua. We'll stop right now. Bless out the house of Alahym in the name of Yahushua. Appreciate y'all time. You who are willing, you pick this up on Wednesday. Keep on rolling, keep on going, keep on doing what it is that needs to be done. Alahym be extolled in esteem, and that knowledge, wisdom, and understanding is imparted. Again, I appreciate y'all this afternoon. Bless out the house of Alahym in the name of Yahushua. You who are willing. Till the next time. We out.